conspiracy to commit murder.
All right, y'all, you're locked in here to the Midwest Mayhem.
I still always want to show up, and that's just, I have not lost any passion for the job.
Welcome to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast with your host Tyler and Lockie. This is where small town stories, wild headlines, and real conversations come together. We also shine a light on first responders, veterans, and on mental health. Because every voice deserves to be heard. This is the Midwest Mayhem Podcast.
I've been an open book about mental health.
We're from a federal prison.
Your fake leader hiding behind the title. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast. I am your host Tyler, and if you guys notice, we were sitting right back here at Frontline Armory. I have my sidekick back with me finally. Miss Lockie, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm here.
Well, we had quite an exciting day yesterday, and I know you had some events that, I mean, you like shagged ass out of there last night, yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, we had the free first responder mental health seminar. There we go. If I could talk today, let's just go ahead and throw that out there before I get too going today.
So how are you feeling?
I'm a little hungover. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I did shag ass out of there yesterday.
You did.
We had a good time over there. Thank you to Leadwood Fire Protection District for inviting Midwest Mayhem Podcast with our Voices of Valor series to come over and be a part of the day. It truly was special. I made a big post on Facebook last night.
Was that prior to your indulgence or?
I don't know that I can answer that.
Okay.
Either way, it sounded good. So,
it did. It was
I read it this morning,
written.
and I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't do too bad. So I did make a big post that was from my heart. It really did mean a lot to me to go over there and work with all those guys. I worked with a lot of them for many, many years when I was on a fire department close to them. And they're just great people. I seen a lot of familiar faces yesterday. I seen a lot of brand new ones, and I feel like it was a really good turnout.
It was. That's what I think. I literally had a smile on my face all evening. That was so much fun, and to see people that I hadn't seen in forever. And it was really neat too to see. And I think I mentioned this in our, kind of closing up yesterday. Men, for example, Rick Whaley, share the story.
Yeah.
Ryan
Miller.
He was very open about sharing his story. So I was very impressed. I just it was a great time yesterday. It really was. Good food.
Oh, absolutely.
Good fellowship. It was great.
Which is funny because we actually had a couple issues with our food trucks the night before the event on Friday night. Taylor called me and said, hey, I know that Quesadilla was Scott and Tina over there, the Mexican food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my wife's cousins. So we needed an extra one. And I said, hey, would you mind to come over? And they did. And Taylor's like, hey, we had an issue with the food truck. The Picture Perfect Panini was supposed to be there, but their truck broke down. So they weren't able to attend. But so we had to scatter to find Band of Brothers actually filled in for them.
Yes.
And I heard their food was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I know the guy from Band of Brothers was walking through the event yesterday and had about a mile long worth of raffle tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he won something good, and that was for a good cause. But and then there was the drink wagon. I got Maria a blue Alani, something or the other. Dirty soda, I think they call it.
Yeah, those dirty sodas.
She really liked it. I got a green apple lemonade from Scott and Tina's food truck. Fantastic. They have fantastic lemonade. It's amazing. But so we got all that fixed up. Had a couple issues yesterday morning with some technical difficulties on the soundboard, but we got that worked out. And it was a lot of fun broadcasting live. That was the first time we've ever done that.
Yep, that was fun.
And I think we got a couple more offers to come do a couple more small events coming up. So I'm so excited to do that. And I'm lucky. I'm really glad you were able to come back and be a part of that yesterday with me. We had some nice polo shirts we had made.
I know.
And those were purchased with all the money that we've made off our website. All the merchandise that we've sold, we're doing really good, and it's all being put right back here into the Midwest Mayhem Podcast.
It was really cool, that entire family that came up with the Midwest Mayhem
sweatshirts.
So
that is what I call my fan club. That is a huge shout out to Amy McClintock, Kyle Pirtle, Janice, Tristan, Cole, and little Caston. I love him so much. He's such a good little guy, and he's one of my best friends. He ever since he's been able to walk, he used to come visit me at the firehouse I used to be on, and he'd come see me on. We play on the fire trucks, and I'd put my gear on.
Oh yeah, as soon as he saw you, it was like his eyes completely lit up. So
well, his mom messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm going to order a bunch of shirts," and they've been our biggest order so far. So when she did that, I didn't have any kids shirts on our website, so I went ahead and made a special shirt on the website just so he could have one.
Yeah,
and he had it on yesterday. I walked outside after we went on commercial break to get my drink and Maria's drink, and he saw me out there, and he just comes darting down the parking lot. And for those of you who missed it yesterday, I do have a big announcement for myself. My wife and I decided to get back into the fire service, and I am now running with Bigger Fire Protection District, and Chief Pratt over there, fantastic guy. I've gotten to know him in the last week or so a little bit more than just on scene. He's a fantastic guy as well. So, but yeah, the event yesterday was just fantastic. So many friendly faces. Everybody was talking about mental health in one way or another, whether we were joking, talking about something serious. It was a really good day.
right.
So, and I'm really glad you were able to come back and
I know, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Be part of what we do here.
Right.
I know we've missed you in the last couple episodes, so welcome back.
Thank you.
And are you excited to be back?
I am very excited to be back. I had a little bit of struggle myself and had to take a break from a lot of things. And I also had to just take a moment. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to be doing. Because even when I wasn't here, I still had people reaching out to me. And I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. And I don't know where it's going to lead me. I may be a 52-year-old sitting out there in classes to help people. I don't know what, but I'm very led to do this.
Funny you say that. We had a gentleman yesterday from CIT, Greg McBride, I think his name is. He gave me his card. He would actually like you and I to attend a CTI, CIT, I think it's CIT.
Critical.
Incident training?
Yeah,
CIT, so it is CIT. He would like you and I to go take that and be certified in what we're actually doing here. So
Right.
I'm pretty excited to do that. We'll get that lined up. I'm getting emails from everybody and their brother about wanting to be on the show. People from out of state. I got an email from a doctor today that I got to read, and he wants to be on the show. So, Lockie, we're truly growing. Our Facebook page in the last 2 weeks has hit over 200 more followers.
Yes.
In 2 weeks. It has been absolutely fantastic. I cannot thank these guys enough. Once I get to feeling a little bit better, maybe later today or throughout the week before this episode drops, I will put our giveaway out for our reaching 500 followers. So,
Well, and Sheila did not get to make it yesterday because, as anybody knows that works in EMS, you think you're going to have a calm, quiet,
Yeah.
especially no offense to our air ambulances, but they're not utilized as much as a ground crew. But apparently they were extra, and so she was not able to make it down. And I know we announced yesterday the Kloss Foundation has been launched. There, if you follow me on Facebook, if not, you can. We need to probably post it on
Yes.
ours. They are accepting donations to help young kids, adolescents, teens, whatever, with bullying, and then her child succumbed to, I forgot what the word was yesterday that she used instead of saying committed suicide, but Kloss committed suicide for a lack of, I can't remember what was said yesterday. And so Sheila started that foundation in honor of him to shine light on that bullying in particular. And so, if you want to donate to, because they're wanting to do all kinds of things for that. So
Well,
I missed her yesterday. I was excited to see her. She celebrated a birthday. She and Mark had an anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So I was looking forward to seeing her, and so
Well, maybe we'll get her to catch up with us on another event sometime soon.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're gonna get a little bit better with going out in public and not just doing our podcast episodes. But Sheila, we did miss you yesterday. I'm so excited to meet you in person because I still have yet to do that. So we'll catch up with you here soon. But yeah, yesterday was just fantastic. Great people, great day. Our website, I will put Klaus's information on our
Okay.
website as well. So we'll
Sounds
get that
good.
uploaded as a resource. But yeah, I'm so excited to be back. Our last episode was with Anthony Dyer, the author of Moonchild. If you missed that episode, it was really great. Really great guy, really personable. I actually got a cell phone number and I've been talking to him back and forth still. And his book was absolutely fantastic. So we'll have to get that over to you so you can
Yes.
read it. But other than today, we are sitting here again in Frontline Armory, as you can see right above my big head. One of our fantastic sponsors here on Midwest Mayhem Podcast. These guys do so much for us. I cannot thank Nathan and Craig enough for what they do, letting us come over here and use their facility. Nathan was a huge help yesterday in the free mental health seminar. Frontline Armory was able to obtain over 200 plus giveaways for the event. Nathan, what was the total on our giveaways?
From our our location, it was over 16,500 in total for everybody that donated. It was over $20,000.
Wow.
And that's unreal because I've been to the big mental health stuff. Like I went 2 or 3 days down at Lake of the Ozarks. There was nothing like that there. It was people with the booths that were, raffling stuff off. So, I mean, that was, if you missed out, you missed out on some good stuff because I did see the things that there
were people going back for 1, 2, 3 things, and they got all kinds of good stuff yesterday. I mean, there was just tons of stuff, and you did a really good job with that, man.
Thank you.
But without further ado, let me give you a proper introduction like I do the rest of our guests. But Nathan and Craig over here, I cannot thank them enough for everything they do, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. I know Lockie says that as well. These guys are just fantastic. Come over here, give them your business. They are now supplying supplies for first responders, fire, EMS, police, military, you name it, they can get it for you. Come over here and get you a firearm. They have a great selection on their website. They do not have anything here in store for those of you who are a little confused on that. They're working towards that. So come over here, check them out, give them some support. They support all of you so much. I cannot extend that enough. But without further ado, today on Voices of Valor, we are talking to Nathan Johnston, a United States Navy veteran and co-founder of the Frontline Armory, a veteran-owned firearms dealership based right here in Farmington, Missouri, which is where we are sitting right now. Nathan served in the United States Army from June 20...
not in the Army.
I'm sorry. See, it's the hangover, I'm telling you. Nathan served in the United States Navy, if I could read, from June 2015 to September 2022 as an Aviation Ordnanceman, second class, specializing in H-60 helicopter weapon systems maintenance. During his time in the service, he earned both his aviation warfare specialist and surface warfare specialist qualifications and received multiple commendations, including the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. During his deployment aboard the USS Ronald Reagan, supporting helicopter...
Maritime.
There we go. I can't read today. Strike operations in the Pacific, Nathan earned a reputation as one of the best troubleshooters in his command, responsible for maintaining complex weapon systems and ensuring thousands of rounds of ordnance and aviation equipment were handled safely and efficiently. After completing more than 7 years of honorable service, Nathan returned home to Southeast Missouri and partnered with his fellow Navy veteran Craig to build Frontline Armory from the ground up, and these guys have done a fantastic job with that. Frontline Armory operates with the mission of empowering veterans, equipping our community, and we are proud to have them as a Voice of Valor legacy sponsor, helping support our mission of bringing first responders and veteran stories to the community. Nathan, thank you so much for everything you do for us, and thank you for being here on an episode with us today.
I'm happy to do it, and thank you for having me.
I apologize that I butchered your intro.
It's all right.
It's been a rough day, bud. So let's get into a little bit of your background and who you truly are. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what life was like growing up around Hillsboro and DeSoto, which is actually up in the area that I work?
Yeah, so I originally grew up in the DeSoto, Hillsboro area. That's where I went to school. It was I feel like it's a different experience than living down here more in Farmington. It was a lot smaller feeling. Here it feels a little more city-like compared to up there. Had a weird childhood. It was definitely different. My dad and me, he raised me from about the age 11, 12 years old.
And you say just your dad, is that right? Okay. So where was Mom?
They got divorced. She had an alcoholism problem.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Neither.
She was extremely abusive.
Now, are you the only child, or do you have siblings?
Only child.
So that's tough. Tough. Okay. And for those of you that can't see, I'm going to tell that you're tearing up, and that's where so many times when we do this, people don't understand. The roots are as a child, in your childhood. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things as a parent. And I'm of the three, I'm the only parent here. You don't realize how fucked up it can be for a child, and the choices you make as a parent, even though we try to do our very best. So how did that shape, and because I'm going to skip on in here, how did that shape being raised by your dad and then joining the Navy in 2015? Because, I mean, how old were you at that time? Were you like a fresh 18-year-old boy?
When I joined the Navy, I was 27, and
I
I
didn't
turned
realize-
28 in boot camp.
I didn't realize that, but that you were that old.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm 38.
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit about your decision. Why did you join the Navy?
So, I had wanted to join for a very long time. I'd been in and out of relationships where I didn't feel it was probably a good decision to make at that point. The last relationship I was in, when that ended, I made the decision. I was like, this is something I've wanted to do for almost 10 years, and I'm making this leap. Like, I'm doing it. I'm going to serve my country where I've wanted to be.
Do you have family background of veterans in your family?
I think the only family member that I'm aware of that has ever served was my dad's dad.
Now, do you have a relationship now with your mom?
And she passed away in 2008.
Oh, wow. Were you able to mend certain things?
We did not talk after my parents really got divorced.
And I'm assuming you have a stepmother in the picture.
So my dad, he had gotten into a relationship after his divorce. She helped raise me. I was maybe not the best kid to her, but she shaped a lot of who I am, and he remarried. I think it was 2 weeks prior to me joining the military. And she's a wonderful lady. She does a lot of community service, a lot of giving back. If anybody knows her, it's Dorothy Lee. She is known as the Christmas lady in the local area, where at Christmas time, she gathers money where people donate it to her. And the mentally disabled, children who don't have families, kids who are abused, people who are in nursing homes that no longer have families to give them Christmas, she gives them Christmas.
So you come by that very honestly, and I think that's kind of another note here, that you don't always have to be the blood of someone to raise you and to be the parent and the guidance, and that's neat because you're very giving. And for those of you that don't know that, I mean, how much money did he get for first responders? And so he's a very giving.
$20,000 some odd dollars yesterday.
So
and that was him pretty well single-handedly. I mean, Craig works quite a bit, and he's not here a whole lot, right?
Correct.
So Nathan's very good at marketing for sure. I will give him that. Well, man, I tell you what, for being dealt that hand of cards in life, you're doing good.
And that's a whole thing too. You could have taken it a whole different route.
Definitely, yeah. It was kind of different, I guess, because Manpower now is known as something different, but when I was a kid, there was a Manpower group that helped children or younger kids, and they were like, we'll pay you to go work from the state in job fields that you might want to pursue as an adult to see if you actually like it. And I first started off working at a police department. I worked at a local armory in DeSoto, and then I ended up transitioning to the DeSoto City Fire Department as a junior. I wasn't able to run calls there, so I ended up joining DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District, and I was there until I was 18. But it was an experience that I'm like, there's no adrenaline rush that's like being in the fire or EMS service.
So you definitely have had the drive to serve others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, let me cut in here real quick.
Yeah.
Nathan and I talk almost every day, if sometimes 15 times a day. But now Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked about you potentially getting back into the service maybe sometime around.
That is correct. I have been debating it. The focus right now is, if I join a fire service, am I going to be able to give it the effort it deserves, or am I going to lack in that service that I'm obligating myself to, or is the business that we're trying to build and that service going to suffer from me also having other obligations? And I don't want to get into something where I'm going to be the person that doesn't show up when it's needed.
And as long as you can hold that respect, it'll make you a good fireman. I can tell you that right now. If I had more guys like that when I was a captain, the world would have been a better place for sure. But I hope you do it, man. I really do. I think Lockheed's got some news coming up here soon, hopefully.
If they'll take me, yeah, I do.
Do you want to share yours?
I can, because I yesterday did put an application at Bismarck Fire again. And so I go to the meeting Tuesday, and unless I'm blackballed because Brett, but other than that, I'm like Nathan. I feel like that's where I need to go. I'm not on the ambulance all the time, and I miss that. I miss that, the adrenaline, but being able to use those skills. And I love Bismarck. I love the community, and I want to serve in that capacity. So.
Well, and that's actually how I met old Lockie here, is over there at the Bismarck Fire Department back in the day when I was on there, when I was just a wee little lad. Me and her son, Brett, grew up together in the fire service. I actually walked past him and grabbed his ear yesterday. I don't think he really liked it, but...
Probably with his fancy, expensive AirPod
the bands or whatever they're called. Well, Nathan, man, I tell you what, for again, being dealt that hand of cards... I can say this because I'm also in that situation. My dad left when I was 6. I got with another lady, got addicted to drugs, still is addicted to drugs, and I don't really have a relationship with him either. But I don't know what it is in life that you get dealt the worst hand, and you want to do nothing but make the best out of it.
Well, it goes back to I think as adults, we are trying to be the person we needed when we were little.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things, and I know we're totally going off of script here.
It's fine.
But that's one of the things. I can be in certain situations, and I see that little curly blonde-headed girl that was so afraid of disappointing somebody or hurting somebody and not, I was like in school, and if somebody got in trouble, I hurt for them. But now I can look at myself and I'm like, I can hug her. I'm the big girl. I'm Big Lockie that's taking care of little Lockie. And so where did you go for boot camp, and how did your dad handle that his son was going to leave? So where did all that take place?
So I went to Chicago, where that is the only Navy training facility in the U.S. My dad was quite excited. He was happy that I left, and not like get rid of you left.
Right.
He was just happy that I was doing something different with my life, and I was trying to do something. Like due to medical conditions, he wasn't able to go to my graduation because it was too far. But it was something I was glad to do. Boot camp was not what I expected, and I mean that I thought it would be a lot rougher, but the Navy boot camp, I feel, is overly soft.
That's interesting.
Yes. So, hanging on the walls in boot camp, there's your pillars, or we call them P-ways, but hallways. There are signs that say profanity is not quality leadership. We had an entire, I believe, 2-hour PowerPoint presentation where they said if your RDC, for us, same as drill instructor, would say, this is effing bullshit, they are not calling you effing bullshit. They are saying the situation itself is. They were like, I felt it, they were overly focused on making you feel safe in a comforted space than it was on planning you for war.
That's interesting.
Very, very interesting, for sure.
Because I think I think that we're raising an entire generation of, because I know me personally, I do a lot better. I don't know, when there are like hard expectations and possibility of disappointment, you can't be soft. And that's, unfortunately, I find that with a lot of the younger, and I hate to say this because there's old generations that are the same. It's all the same. It's not just this group of kids or whatever, but there's a large, we'll say, people in general that just can't handle things sometimes.
Yeah, and I thought it was different because it was roughly every 2 to 3 weeks we were in boot camp for 8. You would go we had a book that we had to study. We had to memorize all this information, and then we would go take a test, And how you pass that test also would depend if you could get early promoted while in boot camp from like E1 to 2 to 3,
Right.
if you were eligible. But there was also a survey at the end of it where you could complain about your conditions at boot camp, and they would look at those as considerations for actual changes. And then if you complained about the way you were treated by your drill instructors, they would actually send officers and people down. And we knew it was due to the survey because it was within days of the survey. They would show up and clear a room, and they would all get yelled at for the complaints that were filed, and they would investigate it, which I thought was odd because I'm like, are we training for war or what are we training for?
Well, and it's important to stay in, to make sure that people are mentally healthy. I know probably this statement I just made didn't sound like what we promote.
It's all right.
But yet there is it's like I said, when I became a teacher, nobody prepared me for what it was really going to be like in the classroom. EMT class, that certainly didn't, but that's a whole other can of worms. It's not. You have to train for that, even though I know there would be situations. So you served as an aviation ordnanceman working on H-60 helicopters. For people who may not know what that job involves, what exactly did you do? Why did you choose that as your job?
So I originally wanted to do corpsman, and that was not an option because they were overstaffed.
So what is corpsman? I do want to ask you that because I have no clue.
It's the military medic.
Okay.
And the
I
goal
probably
with,
should have known that.
yeah, so the goal with that is I wanted to be able to do it because that was one of the only divisions inside the military, and similar to Dylan, that could go boots on ground with Marines.
Okay.
And that was the original goal. Like, I wanted to be a boots on the ground person. Their job is majorly overstaffed. Probably 80% of their job field is higher tenured out, meaning they have reached a point in their career where they cannot promote, and you have to meet rank standards throughout your career by certain year points, or you are auto discharged because you cannot make rank to stay in. So you can't stay a low level person for 20 years. You have to gain your rank. And thankfully, I did not get that job because it is extremely hard to promote. Like, I think their promotion rate was like 2% or less out of hundreds of thousands of people. So very few people.
So would you be tagged to a Marine unit then?
Yeah, you would go boots on the ground with a Marine unit as their field medic.
Wow.
And then after that, I was like, okay, let me try like a law enforcement position. So I was
Right.
going to go for MA. That didn't work out. So I was like, well, what job can I play with guns? And this was the one job that it was like you get to deal with weapon systems, bombs, ammunition, like all of the fun stuff. And I went with that job field because of that. And we also still had smaller chances, but obligations where we could become boots on ground units if we wanted to.
So then, and this is the civilian, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that don't understand it either. So you chose that because, like, let's say in a time of war, would you be, and all I can have to reference is either movies or
Yes.
Vietnam, because my dad was a Vietnam veteran. So would you be one on the gun in a helicopter?
That's the interesting thing about aviation ordnance. So we deal with all guns, bombs, ammunitions, weapon systems, anything that would go boom or pow. And
So you prepared that for, but you wouldn't be
for another
operating it. You
crewman.
would be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in retrospect, you're kind of like the Amazon people at the warehouse. You package it up and get it ready to go.
yeah.
Okay.
And if I would have went on an aircraft carrier compared to where I got sent, they actually build bombs on ships. Like, they can piece stuff together and actually make it functionable that gets sent up top.
That's not.
Well, I did not. I mean, I
Imagine
didn't
hitting
know
the
any
wrong.
of that.
Imagine hitting the wrong wave. Oh no! I probably shouldn't laugh about that, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Of course you do. You're not right today.
Wonder why. Anywho, yeah, I'm glad you explained it because I had no clue. The military, I didn't have many people. My uncle was in the Army during Iraq. That was the era of see nothing, tell nothing, do nothing type of deal. So he hasn't talked about it at all. And they have that 30-year clause where you can't talk about anything for 30 years. And he hasn't hit that point yet. So, but other than that, military, a lot of it is confusing to me. Like, there's so many moving parts. And I'm sure the fire service, the EMS field, I'm sure it all, to the general public, I'm sure it's confusing to them as well, which is kind of why we do what we do here. But that's really neat. I didn't know you package stuff up to
Yeah.
Now, like the bombs we just dropped over there in Iran.
That would have been something that somebody probably in my job field, if that was off of a Navy aircraft, would have loaded.
Okay, but they just came out of Whiteman, right here in Missouri, actually.
Yeah, so off the Air Force Base, they probably have their own division that does it, but if
Okay.
that would have been on the aircraft carrier, anytime a jet is launched, it's an aviation ordnanceman that has loaded that ordnance.
Wow. And the ordnance is the
The bomb itself.
Okay. That's a
Like,
cool
for
name.
us, anything that explodes or has an explosive ability is pretty much ordnance.
Maybe we'll make a new shirt, the Mayhem dropping the ordnance.
Our saying a lot was warheads on foreheads or reshaping the earth one bomb at a time.
There's
Wow.
that weird
Freelance.
sense of humor that comes
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
whenever
There we
Free
go.
landscaping.
Even the military has it. So you earned both aviation warfare specialist and surface warfare specialist qualifications during your service. What did it take to earn those, and what did they mean to you personally? Because your job sounds very important, and if you ship the wrong package somewhere, I'm sure it's not an easy return.
No, and it is, everything's very highly accounted for with like what you're doing, and when it deals with, it's down to the single round count. Like if you're missing
Wow.
one round, like it's intense, like inspections that happen. But for like your air warfare, it's knowing pretty much every aspect of that aircraft, that your platform that you're learning. So if you're on jets, you're learning everything about the jet. If it's on helos like I was H-60s, you're learning everything about that aircraft. It's all of the types of how many rounds per minute expend from every type of gun, what types of like stuff get loaded, how much of it can be loaded on a single aircraft. It's all of its capabilities and weapon systems and everything about its flying and how it stays in the air. You learn a lot of stuff about an aircraft. For the surface warfare, I actually earned that while I went on deployment with HSM 77, which was stationed in Japan. We got sent out there. They didn't have enough people certified to deploy, so we filled gaps to make them deployable. And I was the only person, and I don't even think, so we went out for 3 months, and then we sent out a second group for 3 months. I was the only person in my group that earned it in the first 3 months that we were out, which is an extremely difficult task to do. For surface warfare, you are learning everything about the entire aircraft carrier. It's every weapon system, everything it does, the unclassified speeds, because what we are told is not the actual speeds. There's a lot of information. You have to know what each division does, the nuclear power of the ship. Like, there's a lot of information that you study and learn. And then for both of them, whichever one you're doing, you will go sit in front of a board and you get asked questions, and think of a book inches thick of everything. Anything in that book is askable.
So what, have you always had this passion for guns and ammunition? And
So as early as I can remember, 5 to 6 years old, I have been shooting. I enjoyed it from early on. If it was a BB gun, a 22, whatever, I've always enjoyed shooting.
What was your first gun?
I don't want to answer that on the podcast. So unfortunately, the first firearm I ever purchased was a High Point. After that, I got into Glocks, and the High Point, I got it because it was cheap. It was easy to get a hold of. But I definitely have gotten into Glocks, Springfield Armory, Rugers. I have a very large gun collection.
I wonder why. It's almost like you own a gun store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're learning all kinds of stuff. I talked to this guy a lot, and I had no clue about any of this. And he did leave us with a surprise yesterday that we're going to learn something here interesting in just a little bit.
I know.
I'm working to get to that because I'm really curious. I thought about it all night.
Yeah, so there is stuff like even in my bio that the owners of the previous store that I worked for, I'd been there 2.5 years, and I sent her my bio and was like, "Hey, what do you think?" Like, and she goes, "I didn't know half of this about you." Mm-hmm. Like, I don't talk about it. Like, I don't feel there's a need to tell everybody this is what I've done with my whole life.
Yeah. Well, you're here on a podcast, and somehow we're going to wrangle it out of you today, buddy. So for those of you who did not know and for those of you seeing Nathan here on the Midwest Mayhem YouTube channel, Nathan worked over at Rob's Guns when they were over in Leadington, and then they done the move to Farmington. We're there for a brief period, and then they ended up closing store, and Nathan said, you know what, I'm going to open up my own, so here we are. So I'm sure his face to you gun fanatics probably know who Nathan is and probably have bought some things from him. But I had never seen you up, and I only went into Rob's a couple times, but I'm sure these guys know who you are.
I hope so.
All right, well, let's get moving down the list because I'm itching to find out what this little thing is you let us in on yesterday is. So, like, I'm gonna let you read number 5 because I'm not very smart.
Is it Meritorious Advancement Program?
Yes.
And
Okay.
so everything, like EMT has the little. So is it called a map?
Yes.
Is that okay? So for those of you, what does that? First of all, what is it? I mean, I can break down. I know what meritorious means. I know what advancement means. But what is that? And then what did you do to get that recognition? What does it mean to you?
So, in order to be Meritorious Advance, so the breakdown of what it is, you are recognized, and that it is fought over through your entire command. So your command might be allowed to advance 1E3 or 1E4, 1E5, 1E6 to that next level. So you're the rank below, and they're going to promote you to that next level. You have to do a lot. You have to have your stuff together very much. So as considered somebody who's showing major progress and should be a supervisor or in that next position. And they put a package together of everything you've done for the last 12 months. That package is submitted to a board of people. You might be competing against 3 people. Some commands, nobody gets promoted. One supervisor does the paperwork. You automatically get it because you're the only person submitted for that pay rank. There's some, like on a ship, there could be hundreds of people that are fighting that out, and they just start going qual by qual, seeing who has who's done better, who's done more than the guy next to them. And if you make a certain pile, you go in that one, and this pile goes, you're not getting promoted. Then they go through those, and it's line by line again, and they are tagging them out one thing at a time until they come down to a couple. And then those are still sitting in front of the board, and they go through. And then they say, this is who we feel should get it. It's one of these people. That might go to the next pay rank of board members that sit there and evaluate if you're going to get promoted. And they all fight it out over who? Well, you think in fire, police, EMS, if one police officer, one firefighter, and one EMS person are competing, you as a supervisor want your person to get it. So they have to prove why that person should get it. And you might get 2 or 3 other supervisors. It's like, no, this person deserves it more than this person. I've seen the effort. So you put in everything that you do over that year, and then you are automatically advanced if you are selected to the pay rank. The benefit of being Meritorious Advanced, normal promotions in the civilian world, you get promoted to your supervisor. Usually you immediately start receiving your paycheck. In the military, people who get advanced to that next pay rank, they are technically, you might be E5, but you are still being paid as the rank under that. And it might be 6 months, 8 months, and it goes off a point system of when you take your test and get advanced. And how fast you'll receive your pay. When you get Meritorious Advanced, it is immediate. Your next paycheck, you automatically start getting paid, and you are considered that pay rank.
So how many years had you been in when you received that?
The first time I want to say 4 or so years in, and it was running certification programs at a pay rank that I should not have been doing them. Like, I was doing all of the paperwork, keeping all of the documentation. I was running programs for, we call it Aussie gear. It's the stuff that puts the bombs on the aircraft so you can load it on there and skid it out. It's all of the bomb racks. Then I was helping with our ordnance certification program, which was E6 and 7 pay grade. I was doing it as like E3. And then I kept doing it. There was a lot of stuff that I ran with it, and I got promoted off of that the first time. After the deployment to HSM 77, which I think played a huge role in it because I was one of the only people who got my surface warfare. And then I came back I was taking maintenance meeting for another command as an E4, which is normally E5 or above. I was doing a lot of extra effort and work. There was a lot of issues that they had with certain components that before they ever went out on deployment, they couldn't figure it out. They had been trying to figure out what was broken for months. Well, from the command I came from, we did extenuous training exercises, like consistently, always doing training missions. We would fly out to Sacramento Island all of the time. You'd be out there for 2 weeks, 12 hours a day, off for 12 hours. And if you went over 12 hours, you didn't get extra sleep. You would be there much longer. So
Which you and I have had this conversation privately. It goes back to, you said the word, it's training.
Yes.
It's that we can't do it the way we've always done it.
Yes. And I know that after listening, Washington County has that on the wall.
Yeah, we do.
That Admiral Grace Hopper. But that was on the wall in our quality assurance office at my command. This is the way we've always done it is the most dangerous phrase in the English language.
Well, and I mean, you're dealing with ammunition. Of course you can.
And
I mean, I'm glad you were that driven because I can't imagine that pressure, honestly.
it's a different level. But like after that deployment, I came back, which was almost exactly 12
And that
months.
was to Japan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Best place to ever eat food. FYI, even if you can fly through, stop at the airport, eat the food.
Do not tell my wife that.
Like
That woman eats she's an
Spiciest too. If it's
Asian cuisine is her thing,
Yeah.
and please, Maria, don't listen to this episode. Whatever you do,
their airports make this look like a third world country airport. Like their airports are like huge malls with nice food venues. Like, and the food you get there looks like you're being served at a 5-star restaurant. Like they position it, they take very, very high pride in what they do. But after that deployment, it was almost exactly 12 months later when I returned. I was on leave, and I had heard that I had been put in to be Meritorious Advanced for the second time.
okay.
And I did not know if I was going to receive it. I was like, and then I got to thinking, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to
So
get it.
did you get it the first time?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
did get it the first time. So now you're going in for a second time.
Yeah, and I went in, so I took my first test, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 0.24 per, like points. So literally like 0.24 is how much I missed advancing off that
Oh
exam.
my
oh
God.
wow,
So
Ew.
it was, and
So is
that
not to
happens
interrupt
frequently.
you though. So is that taken in by peers? Is that how you were nominated, or is it by your superior?
Your superiors are who
Officers,
put you
okay.
in for meritorious advancement. It's usually your enlisted shop.
And I mean,
or
obviously,
whoever.
you displayed hard work and dedication as well.
As an E4, one of the things I think helped is our command would offer volunteer events, but most commands have a volunteer coordinator. There was nobody doing that in our command. And I talked to the higher ups, and they were like, well, you can do it, but we have to have an E6 that oversights it because that's the way it's written. So I decided to talk to one of my supervisors, said, hey, let's do this. And I started accounting for everybody as a volunteer, which goes on your eval, which helps advance, which is something that was way over my pay grade to be doing it as an E4. So they look at all of that stuff. But the second time I got I had heard, I was checking the system and found out that I was advanced the second time. And within an hour, somebody called me and said, how does it feel to be advanced twice?
Yeah, no kidding.
that's an
And I was-
honor.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I get paid today, so it's pretty great. Like, because people were mad. They were like, how did he get it twice? But it is very unheard of that most people ever receive it twice, especially at the same command.
Well, congratulations. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
that's-
and like I said, it shows the hard work and dedication that you.
Yeah.
And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you had the passion for it. And I think when you add that passion into whatever, of course, people are going to be jealous because I think people sometimes are jealous of people that have passion. It's, oh, well, you're sucking up, you're doing too. No, it's because I do have the passion to do my
Brett
job.
and I used to catch that a lot in the fire service
Yeah.
because we were little fire nerds.
Yeah.
And we still are. But Brett and I mean, we both, Brett was with Bismarck, I was with who I was with. And I mean, we pushed really hard to do, I mean, yeah, we were volunteer, Could we went out and drank when we were in high school? Could we went out and caused trouble and did what normal teenagers do? We could have. But I spent majority of my Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, weeks off school, whatever, at the firehouse.
Yes.
I didn't care if anybody was there. If I was there by myself, I was out in the bay. I was teaching myself something.
Yeah.
There was YouTube. Like I was learning something. If I had an officer there, they were out in the bay with me, teaching me why does this tool have its job? Who made it? Like, I wanted to know everything I could possibly know, and that's what made me a better fireman.
I agree.
Because in the volunteer service, nobody makes you a better fireman besides yourself. You don't get paid. You make you. That department doesn't make you. Your friends don't make you. You make you. If you don't push yourself and apply yourself in the service, even if you're paid, you will never be what you could be.
No, you're like on a high horse, and but it's a good high.
If you don't apply,
and that should be in anything, and that is one thing. And to go back on this childhood stuff, and I would almost bet you had this in your life. I was expected by my mom and dad to be a hard worker.
Yes.
And I can remember my dad and my mom telling me, I don't care if you are the trash man or you're the CEO, you make the very best, you do the very best, and you treat everybody equally. And, my mom and dad or I've had people say, well, you work too much, you do this or you do that. Okay, but that's who I am. And there are times that I have wanted to be lazy or not do my job, but in this job, you couldn't have decided, well, okay, that's 10 rounds. Though that you can't do that. It's another person's life. It's a serious situation. And that's where I get frustrated. Don't cut me down because I want to be a good employee. Because one of the things that could never be said, when I die, no one could say, well, Lockie Barton was lazy.
I'll say it just to piss you off.
I will haunt you.
You're going to haunt me anyways.
Exactly. But that to me, we've known you. There's nothing in this building that shows any of this merit that you have.
Nope. There's a picture of him up there on the wall.
Right, but that's not. He would have probably never told us any of this had we not sat down in this interview.
Nope.
And that's where I have a different respect for people. When they're that way, you're very humble, and there aren't very many humble people anymore in this world.
And I do have an example for the people who want to cut people down. When I was in the fire service the first time, and I was a junior, probably my first year and a half, 2 years, if tones were dropping, I was listening to them, and I would just get so excited. Like, I would just stand up, I would be ready to rock and roll, and the guys made fun of me, and that's fine. But you know what? You can make fun of me, but when those tones do drop, you can kiss my ass, because I'm going to be the first one in my gear on that truck ready to rock and roll. And mind you, I'm 15, 16 at this time, and you have 20, 30-year-old guys that are shagging ass trying to get out to the truck. I take pride in what I do. Yep. I don't care that I get paid for it. I don't care that I don't care that you don't like what I'm doing. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the people we're rolling out of these doors to go save their ass. That's what I'm doing it for.
Yeah. Yep.
So for those of you who did cut me down in the fire service, I'm just going to give you a shout out here. Fuck you.
God,
I'm in a mood today.
No kidding.
That's that coffee, I'm telling you.
That's.
But David, very honorable. And Lockie is right. I wouldn't have known this. I don't even know that I would have thought to ask this if you wouldn't have sat down to do this with us today. So people need to learn from people like you, people who take pride in what they do, no matter what job they're doing. Like you said, trash man, CEO. Take pride in your job. Do it right. Do it right the first time, so you don't have to do it 15 times over.
And that was always and even with like Brett, I'm going to use him as an example.
We love you, Brett.
I can remember I wanted to bang his head off the table doing homework. I was probably more excited that he graduated high school than he was. But that's not who he was. He was that 12-year-old little boy learning from the front to the back. Because I can tell you right now, that kid knows more about fire than I think fire knows about itself.
You think he knows more about fire trucks than he does women?
I think if he had to choose between women and fire trucks, he'd go for the fire truck for sure.
It's funny. I think Maria told you this the other day, but I was driving down the road, or Maria was driving down the road, she sent me a picture, and it was the picture of Ludington, the back of Ludington's new truck.
Yes.
And she goes, I wonder who this is. I said, it's Ludington's 3960. She's like, how the hell do you know that? And I'm like, well, I know fire truck asses more than I do women, so
But
I'm being a little bad today. I better calm down.
you are. You're acting like I normally do.
Well-
But no, I think that speaks volumes, because I'm sure your dad instilled that in you. And do you think there was a part of that too that, and I hate to say this and no disrespect to your mother, but did you ever strive not to be the way she was?
I definitely did. Like,
Do you think that's what pushed you into being 2 times the receiver of this advance? I mean, is that?
I don't know if it played a role directly in that, but it definitely, like, the way I was shaped younger, it definitely changed me, because I was the person, I saw what alcohol did to her, and I thought that's how everybody was. So I didn't touch alcohol until after I was 21. Like, I was never the person to go party. I was always at the firehouse, days, weeks on end.
Now, I can't go that far. I did partake in a little bit of before 21 activity. However, though, that's what pushed me in the fire service. My dad wasn't around. I had my stepdad, Billy, loved the man to death. And kind of like you, when I was a younger kid, and I kick myself in the ass now for this, I didn't treat him the best. And if he ever listens to this, he knows we have an understanding. But he took care of me, and he showed me things. But the firehouse was my getaway. Even my mom and my stepdad were great to me. I can't say bad about them. I mean, no parent's perfect, obviously.
No,
and I'm sure
no.
you'll agree with that. But
I always say that I mean, I've joked with Brett and Sydney that they'll be sitting with a psychiatrist at some point, and it'll be my fault.
well, I mean, the firehouse was my runaway, and I tell you, a good person to watch on this, Matthew Perry. If you're listening to this, Chewy, your keynote speech that you done back in 2016, 2017. Go back and I'll send you the link to this, Nathan. His speech will make you cry, have the chills, and be inspired all in once. Chewy has a very good story, and I'm hoping to get him on here with us one day. But the firehouse was my getaway, like Chewy's, and it was my way of hiding, not being like my dad. I wasn't trying to prove a point, but to me, if I was at the firehouse, that means I was nowhere near doing what my dad was doing. I wasn't doing drugs. I was staying completely away from that rough crowd. So, I mean, I think that's why we get along so well, because you and I kind of shifted on the same path. So, let's continue on with your interview, because I'm getting a little bit more about myself today. So let's see here. So you spent time aboard the USS Ronald Reagan, which was a president, in case you people didn't know that, supporting operations in the Pacific. The Pacific's over there towards Japan, right?
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Correct.
I'm not very good with my
So
oceans.
how long were you deployed on?
It was about 3 months. My deployment was slightly different than everybody else's.
Okay.
Because due to things I won't disclose nationally.
Okay.
Or
Well, so
worldwide.
let me ask you that too. So, I can't imagine your job. So, was there a time limit of how long you could be deployed? Because I mean, I would think your brain would need a moment to be like, okay.
So deployment, I don't think there's technically a timeline.
Okay.
There are some captains who, if they're listening, and I hope they realize this, going for the world record of the longest deployment is not healthy.
No.
And
Yeah.
there
No.
are
That's
people
rough on your mental
who
health.
push to be the person who did it. And there was one not that long ago, like, I think he was around a year of straight deployment. I had
That did the job that you're talking about.
the whole ship was deployed
okay.
for over a year.
Okay.
Like before they ever touched like land again, besides their ports in between, which you get a couple day break, but it doesn't mentally really separate you enough.
Yeah.
Deploying on a ship is like being in prison, because you
yeah.
can't go anywhere. Everything you need is there, but
Oh man, I couldn't imagine. That'd drive me nuts.
you're also sleeping. Like, I got lucky on deployment because they put us in an E5 berthing, so there was only about 50 or so of us. Normal berthings are 200-300 people. in
What's a berth? Is it like a bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 bunks, and I mean,
So it literally
two
is.
people
I mean,
can't stand shoulder to shoulder between the beds. They're pretty close. When you lay down, I was a bottom rack, so I could put my finger like this and touch the ceiling.
Oh, good Lord, no.
I'd die.
Yeah, so
I'm too fat for that.
if you get the top rack bed, that one was a lot better because you had to the ceiling. There was a little more room. But I got flown off the aircraft carrier. I had to come home and then got flown back and met them in Australia. And there's no adrenaline rush compared to the fire service. Like,
Boy,
Well, and that is what, like yesterday, there, and I mean, we've known this, and it's the same for military. The sleep deprivation. There is scientific proof
yeah.
that sleep deprivation, when she said yesterday, and I already knew this, like at so many hours of lack of sleep, it's like you're intoxicated.
Yes.
But everybody pushes 4896s, and I'm thinking, we wonder why. And
We wonder
it's
why-
not healthy. It is not, because then on top of that, I know, unfortunately, personal experience, you guys probably have had it too. You work your 48. I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple of times I stopped at Roy's at Iron Mountain Lake and got me a tall boy, and I started drinking at 7:30, 7:45. Might lay down at 9, might not, might clean the house, might do this. And then to go right back into it's not healthy.
Oh, it's not. And
And I know so do you struggle with sleep now?
oh yeah, I like
Are you prepared for, and so I'm gonna come back and ask you that question because you've lived a princess life here recently, not being in the fire department.
last year and a half, it's gonna be
Okay,
a struggle.
Yeah,
you
so-
still struggle.
Oh yeah, and like yesterday with the event, I want to say I was up 6:30 in the morning. Even knowing I had this episode today, I think it was almost midnight before I could actually fall asleep. Like, I definitely have
Well, yeah,
insomnia.
I don't even know how. I mean, I can't even picture laying in with my nose that first of all, I'm claustrophobic, so I couldn't do it. But how did you rest your mind on that deployment and being in that situation?
They do different events like throughout the deployment, so you can kind of like go and do stuff, but that is after your 12-hour shift. And you like, if I remember correctly, our deployment I was on days, so I was 7 to 7, and then you have 7 at night to 7 in the morning. In between all of that, there are still man overboard drills. They are still running battle station drills for live scenarios if something happens. So
They do that in the middle of the night, right?
Yes. So you might be midnight, 2 a.m. in the morning, and the bells start going off, and everybody's jumping up, putting on their clothes. Because for man overboard drills, I think their time lapse is 20 minutes for full ship accountability of 5,000 plus people.
Holy shit.
So every person has to be to their work center, wherever that is on the ship, no matter the bottom, the top, wherever you sleep, you have to be there. They have to have accountability. Someone has to call. And if they're busy, you just keep calling until somebody answers. You tell them your shop center, who's accounted for, if someone's missing or not. And the whole time, if it's alive, they think somebody's actually overboard. Somebody's up top spinning an aircraft, getting it ready for a deployment to go search and rescue.
Wow.
So did they ever like put in a scenario of let's pretend like you get the assignment tonight, you're going to be missing?
So
Did they play that kind of shit
They
games with
do
you?
that frequently, but
Oh, wow.
couple funny stories on that. So they would stage officers, or for us chiefs, which is E7 or above, they get staged throughout the ship, and they will, one of them, nobody knows who, as people are coming through, they're like, randomly, you come with me. And you're like, I gotta go. They're like, nope, you're the missing person, come with me. Well, your work center, nobody knows. So you have a timeline of 20 minutes. So when they get everybody there and one guy is missing, you have to send people to them, hey, see if they're still in bed. Well, they get to their bed and there's nobody there. So now there's people looking for them. They are timing to see how long it takes you as a work center to report you have a missing person that may be overboard.
So did you all ever like sometimes know when you could, because whenever I taught school, it'd be funny that we would have the intruder drill.
Yeah.
But nobody knew it was going to be at, we're down the teacher lounge, it's going to be at 8:35 and they're going to pull a kid from, so did y'all ever,
You did
you
not
totally
know.
kept it
There was
that would
some-
piss me off.
There was
See, thinking,
sometimes they would run it and nobody would be missing from the drill,
Uh-huh.
and they might run 6 drills, nobody goes missing, and then the 7th drill, somebody's missing.
But I think it'd be funny to be that person they pull.
Well, realistically, like when you do a search and rescue training at a firehouse, that's really how you train your RIT team.
Right.
Because your RIT team's your rapid intervention team, and for those of you who don't know what that is, go get them, brothers. Anywho, we can hear sirens for those of you who probably can't hear them.
If they do the air horn, no, that's an ambulance.
Yeah, that's an That's just the one.
pretty sure it
That's
is.
the boo-boo bus.
Yeah.
The ambulance.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what a RIT team is, it's a rapid intervention team. So basically, when a house fire comes out, firefighters get there. They drop a line, an attack line, which is a hose. I'm using technical terms here. They drop a line. 2 guys go in. Well, in case something goes south really quickly, they have the rapid intervention team, which is staged outside with air packs on, with a charged hose line. That way, if stuff goes south, we have a secondary team to go in to find our guys or the victim or all 3 or whatever. A short basis of what that is, but so it's kind of like the same thing, sort of. And I can only imagine how it is in the fire service on a Navy ship. Which
and
my former fire chief was in that, so I kind of learned a little bit about that.
And I'm just curious, what is the percentage of suicide or attempted suicide in deployments and situations like this?
If I
For a
remember
Navy.
correctly, we had somebody on our deployment kill themselves.
Oh man, that ain't good.
And then I know it's decently like it happens more frequently than is announced. I know that when Craig deployed and he did a real deployment and
Don't say it that way. That when people tell me you're not just an EMT, no, it's.
So he went during COVID.
Oh, okay. So that soon, like that, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Roughly.
He
Okay.
was deployed during
I didn't know
COVID.
that.
I didn't either.
Those conditions were horrible. He was also deployed on the ship, and I cannot remember the name of it, but where the captain made national news they said
Yes.
he made a release statement about asking for assistance.
Yes.
That ship, there was a lot of things that happened during that deployment. Food was re-rationed to officers only, and they were getting served rice and a scoop of green beans or a scoop of peas for their deployment. That was their meal, like as non-officers. But I also, like the command I was at, they went on deployment. They came, so you'll pull in, like getting ready to come back into port. They were sitting off the coast of San Diego, close enough that they had cell signal. They were texting us, hey, this is what we need you guys to prepare. We're getting ready to drop our ordnance off at the armory. This is what we're dropping. This is what we got. And the ship that was supposed to replace them caught COVID. So they said, you guys are going back out. That ship is not deployable. They had just done a 6-month straight deployment. They were not allowed to touch a port because of COVID.
Yeah.
So they were locked on board for 6 straight months, which is how Craig was, except when they had to pull in due to other issues during that deployment. So they get back out. They were told roughly 3 months because they're like, whatever. So now we're at a 9-month deployment. They go out. They come back. They're sitting off the coast of San Diego, texting us, hey, this is what we need, blah, blah, blah. The replacement ship caught COVID again.
Oh, no.
And they redeployed.
Oh, my gosh.
And there is...
You're talking about hell.
Every person that came back from deployment was never the same. Like, whether they want to admit it or not, they stayed within their own work center. They would walk in. They would walk up and talk to you specifically. They would not talk to anybody else that they didn't need to. If you walked into their work center, they would look at you like, why the hell are you here? Like, you're not a part of us.
COVID destroyed our.
It was a horribly rough deployment for them. I know several of them, it cost relationships. They came back and they were in relationships that they weren't originally happy in, but that deployment completely changed them. And they came back a different person. They said, I'm standing up for myself. I'm done. Like, and it was different.
I do want to learn a little bit more about that, and we'll get back into that. But I think we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break here on the Midwest Mayhem Podcast. We are in the Voices of Valor series. Guest number 15, Nathan Johnston, co-owner and founder of Frontline Armory, who is one of our sponsors. You'll hear a commercial about them here in just a moment and everything they offer. And cannot forget Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, who was over there at the event with us yesterday, giving away free coffee. I think Adam said they went through 4 or 5 gallons, so they must have went through quite a bit.
The cup I had was so good.
Oh, I didn't get any of it, but I heard it was fantastic.
You missed out.
So Adam and Christy over there, cannot thank them enough for everything they do. They're a military first responder based store as well. We love to work with these guys. Adam and Nathan actually work together on some stuff, so it's kind of an all around thing. I love working with these guys, and I'm so glad to have them a part. But we were here with Nathan Johnston. We will be right back after our commercial break. Nathan, you want to say anything before we go to your commercial?
Checkpoint Coffee was amazing yesterday. Probably some of the best coffee I've ever drank.
That's a sponsor sponsoring a sponsor. That's awesome. But we'll be right back after a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Okay, so let's.
Hey guys, Tyler here, Midwest Mayhem Podcast. If you're looking for a trusted local firearms dealer with real knowledge and real service, check out Frontline Armory, a veteran-owned and operated business located right here in Farmington, Missouri. Frontline Armory offers a wide selection of firearms, suppressors, ammunition, holsters, optics, tactical gear, and quality firearm accessories, all with a strong focus on education, safety, and responsible ownership. Whether you're a first-time buyer, an experienced owner, or someone interested in learning more about suppression and the process involved, their knowledgeable team takes the time to answer questions and walk you through your operation. No pressure, no gimmicks. You can find Frontline Armory at 201 West Karsh Boulevard, Unit B in Farmington, or give them a call at 573-463-6262. You can also learn more by visiting them at thefrontlinearmory.com or follow Frontline Armory on Facebook to stay up to date on inventory and announcements. And when you stop in, go see my friends Nathan and Craig and tell them Midwest Mayhem sent you. The Frontline Armory, veteran-owned, community-focused, and proud to serve Southeast Missouri. Attention Potosi, there's a new mission in town, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen. This veteran-owned coffee shop isn't just about caffeine, it's about community. From rich espressos to hearty meals, every order fuels a story, yours, ours, and the heroes we honor every day. Step inside and you'll find more than just a cup of coffee. You'll find a place where veterans, first responders, and locals come together shoulder to shoulder. So whether you're starting your morning patrol, catching up with friends, or needing that midday refuel, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen has you covered. Located at 205 East High Street in Potosi, Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen, where service never sleeps and every cup counts.
Hey everybody, we are back from our commercial break here with Nathan Johnston. Guest number 15 here on Voices of Valor. We've talked to 15 people. Aki, what do you think about that?
It's awesome.
It is truly great. Nathan, I've really enjoyed your story so far, and looks like we got a little bit more to go through here with you. We cannot thank our sponsors enough, which Nathan is one of them, here at Frontline Armory. They support us so much, and Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen. Cannot forget those guys either. And Lockie, I think we have another one wanting to sponsor us here soon.
I know. That's kind of cool, too, because there's a little connection there with
Yes.
what a passion that I have that I tell everybody that I meet. Was actually on the Riz show the other morning, and I'm a Team Riz member, 2020. And I just happened to be listening. I'm like, hang on, that is Washington County people. That's Fire Lake. So
Yep.
it was kind of cool to hear that.
So hopefully we can get Fire Lake Winery on here with us. And I think he's wanting to do an episode probably out there at the winery if I had to guess. So that'd be a real nice, beautiful place to do.
It would. I
to
might
do
have
some
to
recording as well.
indulge in a bottle of wine.
Maybe I'll bring my wife with me. She loves her wine out there. So Nathan, let's get back into it, and I think Lockie's going to take it away and take the lead on this one for just a little bit because my head is still killing me. So
all right. So we were kind of talking about your life during deployment and on the USS Ronald Reagan, and your record shows thousands of maintenance actions and handling massive amounts of ordnance and ammunition, which it really does blow my mind. And because my dad worked with what was that place? Defense Mapping, which I don't think it's called that anymore.
I don't know.
And it's up around the Arnold area or whatever. And I know it was all secret stuff. Like, it was very secret. But they did like mapping for things like that and like could take it down to the second. So I can't imagine what you were doing. And you had 0 safety incidents. So how much responsibility comes with work like that? And I bet, are there many that could say that you had 0?
Depending on the command, there's a lot of, like, everybody tries to do everything exactly by the book, the way it's written. And the easiest correlation that I can make to, like, first responders is with that, we were told from the beginning, everything that you're reading, everything that you're doing is written in blood. Somebody died to make that a policy. Somebody died because of the way you were doing what you're doing.
Makes sense.
The way you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I have talked to a couple first responders, and I feel that's a correlation that when you're trained in fire and EMS and PD, there's not a lot of, it's, hey, you do it this way. That's it. There's no reason. They don't tell you you're doing it this way, because if you don't, you or someone else will be killed.
Well,
Absolutely.
and you can please correct me if I'm wrong. I know I've sat in, like when I got my CCW, and they were talking about in the line of duty shootings, and the officer, you're trained, I guess, out on the firing range to pick up whatever that, what's that word? The
magazine?
the bullet parts.
The casing.
Casings. That was not coming to me at all. And out of habit, on cases like that, so many times they're out picking them up because that's what you're trained to do.
And there are studies that show that
I probably sounded real dumb just now.
it's
so.
all right. So there's a lot of studies that show, like, the way you train and the amount of training that you have when you're in your sleep deprivation, you're in your most stressful moments, you automatically revert to the lowest level of training and abilities that you have. So even like in the self-defense situation, you're going to revert to your lowest level of training. When you're doing certain jobs, whatever that training was, you're going back to that original lowest level. So that is like one of the things with the command I was at. We did so much training and so much stuff. There was shifts like when we were out on San Clemente Island, we were on a 12 on, 12 off. And that's 7 days straight for 14 to 20 days, depending on how long they would do those. And the command that we went out with the one time, it was the command right after I re-enlisted. And I came back and was like, I should not have re-enlisted. Like, that was the worst training exercise I have ever done, because their level of training compared to where we were at was so much lower. And I was supposed to be off at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still on an active flight line troubleshooting issues for our exercises that they're trying to run. And they're very strict range times. Like, they say you make it between this window and this window. If you miss it, you go to a makeup day. If you're on your makeup day and you miss it, that exercise does not happen. Those pilots are not trained to do the job that they have to be trained for deployment. So I was out there 15, well, at that point it's close to 20 hours in on a shift, and they were like, you have to go. Like, you got to come back. That night we were allowed to come in 2 hours late for work. And I had ran, and I mean, I get it, there's only so many of us. Like, they don't have backup people for if somebody goes down. So the training that people are given matters a lot. And that, I think, is what played huge roles into us having no mishaps.
That's amazing, honestly.
That is awesome.
There's like certain things, like on the side of the aircraft, there's auxiliary fuel tanks. They load into the same location that the weapon system goes in. There are rules. You never get underneath of that, ever. Like, there is no reason for you to be under it. You can go around the back and look underneath. You can go the front side and look underneath, but you never directly go underneath to look up and under. Somebody made that mistake at a neighboring command a couple ways over, and the aircraft was spinning. Somebody hit a button in the aircraft, and for us, there's emergency jettisons. If the aircraft is taking fire and they have to drop weight, they can jettison that bomb's ammunition, whatever, without it detonating. And somebody pushed the wrong button. They jettisoned. People were under there investigating the leak, and people were killed.
Wow.
And that's one accident. And like you said, it was all done for blood. I mean, that's a big wow moment, honestly.
Yeah, and if you look at the stuff that we're told, it's written in blood because somebody died. and
Right.
people will die if you don't follow the rules.
One minor mistake is all it takes.
So, in our line of work, we've asked all of the people that what is a moment that stays with them forever, and of course, without sharing some of the stuff, the drill. Is there a moment from your time in the Navy that just really sticks with you?
So there's a couple. The very first one was in boot camp. Everybody who's seen the movie Full Metal Jacket.
Which I will tell you, that is one movie I wish I would have
Is that-
never ever watched.
Is that the movie with Gomer Pyle?
Yeah, I think that is correct. It's the one where he's in military boot camp. He goes.
Is it Gomer Pyle? Is that what they call him? Is that his name in that movie?
Well, and he's the guy that's from Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Okay.
And it is, I wish I would have never watched it because it was too much a personal thing for me to think that my dad, I truly, if I could erase one thing of a movie I've ever watched, that is one. And Dad would watch that on replay. And I wish I would have never watched it. But go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, so I've been told by Marines that is very, very similar to how their boot camp is. But if everybody remembers the guy who went crazy at the end and killed himself,
Yep.
we had a guy in boot camp who had that stare.
Yeah.
Like weeks in, and he ended up leaving. Like we never saw him again. Nobody knew, but we assumed he couldn't handle it and left. Later in my career, so with all of the stuff I was doing, I had been helping with our change of commands, like everything. I was the person who was digitally designing all of our pamphlets that would be given out to all of the guests. Because I had done that, they saw how I was done. We came in for a weekend shift for getting aircraft up and ready. And what we thought was going to be a normal duty weekend, we walk in and they say, don't check your tools, which is a very big thing for us. You walk in, you account for every single item because anything in the aircraft could cause it to go down if it's unaccounted for. So you check it before shift, at end of shift, and then the next shift checks all those tools to make sure. So we immediately knew something was up. They called us all out into the hangar bay, and they told us that one of our fellow sailors had killed himself the night before.
Wow.
And it was one of the people that he would walk into a room and it would literally just ignite. Like he was always joking. He was always smiling. He was the most happiest individual. And when they said it, we were like, what? Like that wasn't the person that anybody expected. His friends, we found out that were close, said they had seen warning signs. They kind of realized something was happening. One of the fellow sailors had said somebody asked him if he had a phone charger. And he was like, yeah, I got one. He's like, you can borrow it. And he's like, but I need that back. And they thought it was weird the way he said it. And we're assuming because it was an extremely long one, that was the way he had killed himself. But when he didn't show up, and for me, I wasn't as close with him as a lot of people were in that command. But I got approached by our chain of command and they said, you've designed all these books. Will you design the one for his funeral that will be given out? And I really had to think about it because knowing somebody that well and still not being friends, I was like, I'll do it. Like I ended up saying I'd do it. So I wasn't expecting the photos that I was going to get for that book. And his family sent photos and I saw photos of him as a child. I saw him going through graduation. I saw him at prom. I saw him at homecoming, all the way up to his Navy career, things that I didn't know about him. And that was a moment it's like stuck with me because I, as a person that I didn't know, I saw him grow up all the way to the point of he was no longer with us.
Wow. That's pretty deep, man.
Well, and it is, and that's, I know with Sheila's episode, we talked about that because now, especially with the social media aspect that we have, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, I'm guilty of being on scene with somebody I of course have their entire pedigree. You check them out, and it hits you when you see they were a son, a daughter, but then it's that also that for me, it's an honor because I get to see that person. And I'm going to plug this show, and if you boys haven't watched it, The Pit.
Maria watches that.
Oh my gosh. There is an episode of one of their frequent flyers, and you will go through a box of Kleenexes because it talks about that, and it makes it a reality of that's who we are as humans. You know, that is something that we just, it's, you know, you don't want to get that personal aspect of it, but you do. It's not a fact of being nosy.
Yeah.
You just want to know that person. And that's where it goes back to what they talked about yesterday. That's why it's important for us as military veterans in the military now, law enforcement, EMS, know your people.
Yes.
If you know, don't just take, I'm fine. If there's a tone that's different, you don't have to dig, but ask a little bit more.
And you know, yesterday, Josh McTee, during that Q&A panel over at the Free First Responder Mental Health Seminar, actually said that. And he was sitting down. So for those of you who did not attend, when this was in a school gymnasium, we had a Q&A panel after Kevin Kapler spoke and gave his presentation. But the Q&A panel sat down on the gym floor in a line of people. It was Josh McTee, Dustin Tate, Rick Whaley, Ryan Miller, and I'm blanking on
Bird.
Levi Bird.
Levi.
Yeah, sorry, Levi. But for those of you who do not know, they sat down there on the gym floor in a line, let the entire crowd look at him. And Josh McTee, and I mad props to him for this one, because he looked at every leader. We had sheriffs, we had...
Was it? No, I thought Dustin Tate did that.
Was it-
I don't,
was it
maybe I'm
Dustin
going.
Tate?
I don't know if we're on the same.
It was when they called out the leader.
That was Dustin.
Okay, my apologies, Dustin. It was Dustin Tate from St. Francis County Ambulance District.
But Josh had preloaded.
Okay, yeah. So
Yes.
it was kind of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
duo
yeah.
effort. So
It was,
So
yes.
gentlemen, good job if you're listening to this episode. Good job to both of you. They both sat and called out leaders that were in the room that wore the top badge in whatever entity it was, and basically said, "Look, you have to know your people. You have to show them that it's okay to be not okay." And that was when they said that. I mean, it gave me chills. You were sitting right next to me. It was wow.
Well, so Nathan, how did they talk to you all? Did they have a debrief at all? Did you?
So they had counselors on standby. They brought in chaplains. They had everybody there. And I mean, we showed up for work and they showed up with support. And they were like, they'll be here as long as you guys need them. They're upstairs. They'll be
So
walking
about
the
what
halls.
year was that this happened?
It would have been right after my deployment. I'm trying to think. I want to say 21.
So I mean that's good. That's
Yeah,
that
it
they
was.
did have it.
Yeah, they had support. The one thing that I guess hit hard with a lot of people, and yes, the mission goes on. Yes, you still have to keep
Right,
doing what you're doing.
right.
But it was that week. We just found out we had returned to work after the weekend off. I was on watch that day, so I had to sit there the rest of the day. It wasn't a big deal to me. We showed up, and maintenance actions had gotten behind because that weekend was the weekend we were supposed to catch up. And when our shift came in, the day shift hadn't done enough. So the Master Chief, which is an E9, the highest enlisted person that you can be for us, we went in for our nightly maintenance meeting. What are we going to do today? We knew we had a lot to catch up on. Was like, close the door. And people from every shop, there's like 15 people standing in there. And he starts screaming at us and yelling at us, and then yelling through the walls at the people next door that you didn't do this. I can hear you laughing. I hear you guys joking. And he made the comment, there'll be another one.
Okay, so I have to play devil's advocate here. Do you think that was just his reaction because he did not know how to express? Because he is your top level there. So you can't show weakness.
It was more the fact that when he made the comment, there'll be another one, everybody in that room took that as, I don't care that he killed himself, and I will work you, and if somebody else does it, I don't care. And
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I asked that, because that is what is so interesting not interesting, but the fact is everybody does handle things differently. And what you may think is, well, I can't believe she said that, or I can't believe she didn't even know him that well.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't know. That's just it. Each person handles grief very differently.
Very.
I question, did he feel guilt because he didn't notice something? He is the highest ranking person. Why didn't he notice it? Why didn't he know that this I'm assuming it was a young man, right? You did, okay, that he was a son. You do question those things. So did you all reach out to each other as a unit to talk about things? And because that was one thing that I know Rick brought up yesterday,
Yes.
having your circle of people. And, did you all reach out to each other individually?
I'm sure that within the group of friends, they all talked a lot. I know I talked a lot with them because I was helping build the stuff for the funeral and I was like, I knew him, but I didn't know him the way they did. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I was giving them the representation of their friend that they wanted. So I talked with them.
What an honor, though.
I know-
Honestly, that's a beautiful honor to have.
I know a lot of them talk to each other about stuff, but it was definitely a moment that I don't think I'll ever forget.
No, and you won't. I mean, there are just certain things that will stick. And like I said, that is an honor to have been chosen to do that.
And I mean, that's really, if you look at it, around here, if you go to a first responder's funeral, a lot of times you'll see the Missouri funeral team. Like if a firefighter passes away or EMT paramedic, you see those guys go up there and stand guard at the casket, and you'll see, depending on how long the service is, you'll see 2 to 4 to 6, maybe 8 of them change shift. And when they do it, whether they're volunteer paid or whatever, they do a damn good job, because the guys around here that I've seen, excellent. I mean, you would swear they do it every day. And these are people who do it on a whim. They don't, I mean, I'm sure they probably practice, but you know what I'm saying, Lucky.
Well, I know because I was part of it for Ashton, and I never wanted, like you said, I never wanted something to be so perfect.
Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. It really is. And I mean, that is an honor for you, for your team, all of them. You know what I mean?
I think that's where I always joke about, and all three of us can sit here, we've been handed shit stuff at times.
Oh, for sure.
We've eaten, as I like to say, I may eat a shit pie. I have before. I know that there are things that I have been dealt with, that I've had to deal with, that I didn't deserve. But because of my personality, that empathetic, caring, and all three of us, this can be all three of us, it's such an honor. I can't stress that enough, that it's an honor that somebody would choose me. And so I always say, there are times when I have to sit down with God and decide, is she going to be like it's going to be in Hot Pilates at 115? Yeah. Is she going to be, Lucifer's girlfriend for the rest, after eternity or whatever? Or is she going to be with God? Those are the little things that I truly believe God plays a part in, or whatever power you believe in. And, if you ever look at yourself and think, oh my God, Nathan, you're not doing something right. You have that. You were picked to basically take a stranger, to present that stranger to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And you also had the compassion to make sure that he was represented the right way. And there aren't many people, they would have just thrown stupid pictures in, or I have to put this fucking thing together. I didn't even know this guy attitude. And you chose not to have that. And that speaks volumes for your character. And that's something, and I'm not trying to be like ultra sappy here, but that to me, that's what I look at in a human being. I don't care about how much money you have. I don't care, and I'm going to be this brutal. I don't care that you're this business owner. I don't care, because when it comes down right to it, you were such an amazing human being.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the choice you made. And I kind of like you even more now. So I do. So I'm going to move on because I'm not crying. I can't make tears anymore. Thank you to the hormones that I'm taking, my replacement. So, but know that. And even, I'm not anybody special at all, but if at any point you ever feel like, oh, I'm kind of not the best, I think you are.
Me too, man. Me too. You've helped us out
Thanks.
with a lot.
Yeah. So let's go back to the excitement of, let's move on with, so you're working around all the weapon systems, the aircraft. I can't, this is like such a dangerous job you're doing. So you've got the weapons, then you have the aircraft, you have explosives, the discipline and attention. Now, or did I already do this one? Did I already?
I think we kind of covered this one a little
Okay,
bit.
so then I don't, and then I did the, no, that did basically cover. But, so I do want to, so you had all of this. What were your things that you, after dealing with, because I seriously cannot imagine putting together something that, I can understand if we have like open things and I could run. You're on a freaking ship. There's nowhere to go if you fuck up. And I hate to laugh, but it's like, I would have to eat nerve pills the whole time I was doing this, thinking, my God, one mistake. I mean, one mistake,
Literally,
it's
you're
everybody's gone.
It could
So
be.
what was your downtime when you said you worked the 12 hours on and maybe got 12 hours off? What things did you do to relax your mind, to be focused, although I don't know how you could be, to go back to the next shift?
There wasn't really a lot of, like, they would do stuff like in what we call the galley, it's the cafeteria of the ship. They would have like plays, they would do like bingo, they would have karaoke nights, but those were kind of sporadic. But realistically, like, most of the time you just got off, went to take a shower, and you were like, I was studying a lot because I was trying to get another
So
qualification.
you really truly never did shut your brain off.
Not really. And then after I got flown off and then I was flown back, like, I felt like deployment was worse because I had that break. Like, I went back in a different state of mind. And then when I was there, I was like, great, you're back in prison.
It's kind of like going on vacation. Like, you're gone a week or so away from work, and you're like, man, I'm living my best life. And then you come home, and it's usually on Monday. You go back to work on Monday, and you're like, why? So, I mean, it's kind of like that. I do have a question for you. Showers on boats, how does that work? Do they use water from the ocean?
So
It
there
would
is,
purify it.
yeah, there is, on the ship, there's a thing that takes out all of the salt and stuff so it becomes regular
But they
water
do pull the water from the ocean.
for the most part.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was curious because I was like, well, you can't run plumbing, so...
And here's one. Explain to me how you can go into low water levels when you're in the middle of the water. We would run into water rationing because we didn't have enough water.
I mean, I'm not a genius, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so...
Man, I'm all out of money, but I'm a billionaire. How does that work?
They used to actually, like, they'd be like, hey, your showers are supposed to be like 3 minutes or less, or they would be like, no showers today.
Ugh.
And then for the bathroom, it was, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
Oh, yes.
So they would limit it that much on water.
You'd catch me hanging off the side of the boat or something.
Oh, my word. Well, so with all of that being said, so you were, after more than 7 years in the Navy, you are having to transition back into civilian life, roughly 2022. So this is
September 2022.
so
Right
this
after the
is
peak of COVID.
well, right. So not only did you have just that transitioning back, but then you on top of COVID, what was that adjustment like for you? And then if you can answer this, I know things are kind of limited, but how did the Navy bring you back to adjust you to civilian life?
So, just a little background real fast on that. So, I was getting medically discharged. I have major neck and back issues and some other stuff. So, I was getting medically discharged. So, my last roughly 12 months was me being discharged, going through the programs, doing the stuff that I had to do, them filing paperwork. So, my leaving wasn't a, hey, your contract ends in 6 months. So, there was planning that should be done. They do. I know we talked about this yesterday during the first responder event. They do offer classes where you can learn how to write a resume. They offer like different levels of stuff. You can still, even now, I could reach out to those people and say, hey, I need help with this. Wounded Warrior Foundation, there's other ones. They offer assistance if you need it.
I'm pretty sure prisons do the same thing.
With certain things. My transition out was slightly different because under medical discharge, unlike your other one, your orders are unknown when you will receive your exact separation orders. So you go through, once you get determined, yes, you are medically getting discharged, there is no coming back, like you're going home.
So are you on the boat through all this?
Oh, no. I was, my deployment, I was on the boat for the 3 months. The whole other time I got lucky, super lucky. My first duty station was land-based sea duty. So I was considered sea duty, but we were stationed on land and deployable. We were one of the last 2 expeditionary squadrons in the entire Navy.
Wow.
That could do a whole bunch of extra stuff that other commands could not do. So me getting transitioned out, I knew it was coming. Once I got my determination, when you're normally getting separated, you receive your separation orders with your hard out date because your contract is ending. You receive those in order to receive, once you have that set of orders, you take that to another location where they plan your move home, which the military will pay to ship your stuff to any location that is at least the same distance as your home of record when you joined.
Okay.
So if I joined in Missouri and I wanted to move to New York, they will only pay the amount that it would take to move me back to Missouri. I have to pay the additional from here to New York. I was being medically discharged. I did not receive my discharge orders. My final date on my actual order says September 31, 2022. I was at home and I was originally working at my other job, was working at the gun store in December before I received that set of orders, which means either you out of pocket pay your own move home or you get rid of everything. So I, not having $5,000 to $8,000 additional dollars to throw into a move home with an unknown timeline of reimbursement, sold everything I owned that did not fit into my car.
Wow.
So I moved home. It wasn't until months later, so even after that, it was February, March timeframe before I started receiving my compensation for my disabilities. So you're looking at almost 6 months. So that means your first month's rent, your deposits, everything is go get another job until you start receiving your compensation that helps. So if I did not have the family support and the support of Craig, who had gotten out a year earlier or so, assisting me, I would probably have been homeless.
Which that's a whole
other thing.
Yeah, because that's what people don't understand. The homeless that roam our area, they are drug addicts, a good chunk of them, but there are also in the bigger cities too. They are veterans who come home, who probably fall into this category and don't have the support.
Yes,
and that's not right.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are a lot of people that I serve with. They don't have families. They joined because they had nothing else. Their parents are drug addicts. Their parents do others. They're in the different crowd, and they joined to get away. And when they come home, they don't have that family support to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's always something that blows my mind of when somebody, and I know this can be a real touchy subject. I know you made the choice to enlist, that it was your choice. But when somebody dedicates that, it's like a relationship. Because I mean, you're talking about your separation. You're married, to, as the old terms used to be.
Yeah.
You're married to Uncle Sam. You're going to
You
piss,
are.
shit, and breathe every time they tell you to. Blink, whatever. They're going to break you down. They're going to get you in that soldier mindset, and then, well, guess what? I don't like you anymore. I'm kicking you out. You figure it out for yourself. You can't do that and expect people to come back, especially for the men and women like my dad that served in Vietnam. I mean, Dad came home to people spitting on him. They didn't even want him back on U.S. soil.
That's terrible.
And then for, you know, the young men and women that are coming back, that came back from Afghanistan and all of that, you can't expect them to come back to Farmington, Missouri and live in Farmington, Missouri and have that go on and function as a civilian without helping them.
I look at it this way: I offered to join. You took me. You pay for me to get back the way I was when I joined you. Does that make
Or
sense?
at least put me back into my environment and
Yes.
guide me and give me resources that
Yeah.
are gonna, because you're never gonna be the same
No.
with the experiences you've had. And I don't care. And I probably will get flack for this too. Even if you don't see combat, that's not normal behavior to break yourself down to.
Well,
what
just
they
the
do.
boot camp they go through.
But I was raised very, very supportive and very respectful of the military, respectful of being an American citizen. The things I think a lot of people have lost now.
I forgot about them.
But I just can't imagine being brought back and like you said, they're not even helping you get back to a place that is your safe place to start healing, to start all over again. Because you are basically starting all over again.
Yeah.
You weren't that 20-something-year-old man that left and came back. You're not that same person.
And there's a lot of them that are 18, 19.
Right.
They don't have
Who
any
don't have that
experience.
development in their brain to...
They might only do a 4 or 6 year contract.
Yeah.
And they're coming out and all they do know is what they learned from the military.
That's got to be even harder to readjust from.
Well, and like you said, so many of them leave home and find that discipline and find that routine, and you've literally had somebody wake you up every morning. Somebody's fixing, then you're going and doing what you're supposed to do with the training, and then, oh well, you're going to go back home and you need to find an apartment, you need to find a job, but there's no tools to help you do that. It's
Yeah.
just it's not right.
It's not.
It's not. So this led you into. So you were working at the gun shop. And I don't think it's important to go into the details. I think out of respect for them, I don't think, and I hope you're okay with me
Yes.
saying that, because I did purchase firearms from them. That you all always took good care of me when I came in there, so I don't feel like we need to make any deal out of that. So you decide, and we and I think probably all three of us have had a private conversation about the night everything went down. But so what made you start your own business? So, and basically it was 2024. Now Craig worked at your place of employment as well too, your previous.
Yeah, and a lot of people did not know it, but he was the person who helped do camera securities, computers, like keeping all of that updated, running. Anytime we had technical issues, he was doing a lot of that for both businesses.
Okay. So then what made you launch the business that you currently have, the Frontline Armory? And were you guys just like, let's just do this? This is my idea, your idea. This is our personal experience. What made you take that jump? Because that's scary to become a business owner.
So we had been discussing for a while, like the opportunity or the possibility of us opening another business or opening a business of our own. We've known each other over 20 years at this point. With that other gun store, those owners were absolutely amazing. They were people who would invite you over for holiday weekends, for a barbecue, not ask you to bring anything. They would supply food, drinks. The only thing they said is, you want to bring alcohol, bring your own. I'm not giving, which was understandable. That shaped a lot of how I feel, another part of who I became, because they were a set of owners who taught you, I don't forget that you're how I have what I have also. they took care of who you are.
Never forget your people.
Yes, and they were very big on taking care of us when we needed things or trying to take care of us. The shock to the community was just as much a shock to most of the workers. We knew the store was going to close. We were asked, we don't have another choice. Would you like to take the opportunity? Because Rob approached me and said, I think that you love this place more than I do at this point. And I was like, probably. Like, it was the best job I had ever had. It was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. So we had started the process to attempt to acquire the store. We didn't even get to submit our loan application. That was not allowed by the bank. They weren't going to wait for the additional timeline of the money to see if we even would get approved. So we had already, under the assumption we were going to try, weeks into this, had already started purchasing our own business license, already had half of the stuff set up. When we were told that we were not going to be able to purchase that store, it was the following morning. The entire crew walked in and found out 10 minutes to the store opening, because that's when the owners found out was earlier that morning that it was going to close. And today was our final day. There was no time for us.
Insane.
There was
It
no
is.
time for
So,
any,
I mean, I'm assuming like you had all of your, the product in there. I can't think of the word I'm trying to, I mean,
Yep.
like you had everything.
Yep, the entire store.
And it's not like you can say, hey, can you come back and pick up all these, you know,
Yeah, so
not merchandise. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. So
Inventory.
inventory. Thank you. You got that one
yeah,
for me.
so we did work extremely heavily on assisting every customer with getting stuff that they had in layaway that was on hold.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Even under Missouri state law, it's not required that if you buy a business or a gift card at a location, that if you are going under, something happens, that you are required to reimburse that money. It's considered you're not at fault. So every person that we contacted to try to let them know. They tried to do everything they could for the couple weeks to allow those people to use those gift cards, do everything that we could to get everybody the stuff that they had purchased, because it was required. As far as I'm aware, every person received either their money back or the item they had purchased.
And once again, that speaks volumes. of
Absolutely.
As
a
much as
person.
possible. With us opening our own store, it definitely played a huge role into the fact that almost every person that worked at that store was veterans for the most part. The GM, she was not, she was let go just previous to them finding out that they thought they were going to get closed. There was another employee that was part-time. He was not. But in the final end, 3 of the 4 final employees were veterans. Me, Cody, and Kurt. And the huge part of what Shape What we're trying to do is, 1, bring them back to work into a place that they actually enjoy working. I know that one of them absolutely hates the other job that they have. The other one is doing some other stuff and also trying to become a pilot. But there's a difference working in that environment where the brotherhood still feels like the brotherhood. And that is a huge portion of our goal and mission, is to bring veterans back into a place that we've all transitioned home under different circumstances.
Right.
Some might be from war. Some might be from just regular deployments and regular service and never have seen war. Some might be reservists who were what people want to call weekend warriors. And the goal is to have multiple types of readjustments home that will be able to help those other people that are coming home have a place that understands it, not going to judge you, going to try to help guide you and give you directions on what you can do, resources you're able to gather to help you get to a place you need to be.
Well, and that is one thing I've heard from so many people that are veterans that come back. I don't want to speak to somebody that doesn't understand, never served in the military. Unfortunately, I know a person that he did see war, and he came back, and the psychiatrist he needed to talk to was of that nationality. Well, now, why the fuck would he want to talk? And I'm quoting him. Why the fuck would I want to talk to you? Number one, you're a female. You have no idea what I'm thinking or feeling. And number two, the obvious. But that to me is what is so important, is that you are going to provide that. And I hope that you are able to do that. I hope that
It's like a melting pot.
I hope everything that you're wanting to, which you and I have talked about the spiritual aspect. I think that, you have your little things that are happening, and I think you're right where you need to be, and you're helping the people you need to be, because there needs to be a safe place for our people that are defending our country to come back and have somebody, because some people talk bad about like the things we did yesterday of having the panel, and it's like, well, let's sit around and tell war stories. But you know what? That brings it that we're all real people and that we're with common people. It's easy to let your guard down, to feel comfortable, and to get the help you need. It's not sitting and pissing stories, who can contest. That's not what it's about. And so I hope that I hope that mission is accomplished.
Yesterday we were in our own fort with our own warriors, telling our own war stories, protecting our own. And if you have a problem with that, you're more than welcome to talk to one of us, because I guarantee we'll all give you the same exact answers. I'm not going to say it because I've already said it once today, but you get where I'm going with it.
But I hope that, so you don't have like the storefront. Like I can't come in like the previous store you had. It's online.
Yes.
So what are some of your long-term visions that you want to accomplish? Because I mean, I could sit here and tell you it would be awesome if you had a physician on staff or on phone call, if you had a psychiatrist, if you had a nurse, if you had just, peer support. What is your vision
A
for this
Midwest
business?
Mayhem recording studio.
Yeah, so to explain, we are currently working online towards a full storefront. We are 100% self-funded, and that's not because we have thousands.
So say that again so our listeners can
Yes,
hear this.
please.
You're what?
We're online working towards a full storefront. And when I say that, it's
But
not
now how are you funded?
self-funded, no bank
Okay.
loans. There's no outside investors. There's nobody making influential decisions. There's not a bank that has given us millions of dollars to have what we have. And it's not that we have thousands and thousands of dollars saved. My business partner is working full-time to keep us funded so I can work at the storefront. We still have not taken a paycheck from the store.
Wow.
We are still working towards that point. Every bit of the money is being reinvested back into the company so that we can get those veterans back to work. Not having bank loans means I have less overhead. Less overhead means that all of that money, the more it grows, we can bring those people back to work faster. We can work into having a full inventory inside of our store. The goal, the more I've looked at things, would love to transition into be able to help police, fire, EMS, along with that, with actually supplying them. That's why we've gathered tons of distributors to help with that. I would like to go into a training facility. I would like to offer, hopefully, in the future, a possibility of bringing a burn tower locally, bringing a
That'd be a big
shoot
thing.
house locally that police is able to utilize. Be able to have a facility where if fire, police, and EMS is like, hey, we want to run a mass casualty drill situation, there's options to bring everybody and the resources together locally so that they can all work, even if it's 6 different departments that say, hey, let's all go work together, because if we get a house fire, we're all going to be at the same house fire. Let's go all work as a team so we can train together. And I know currently with the way the setups are, it's Caper Festus. It's difficult for a small volunteer fire department that might only have 10 people to send all 10 people out of district for a training.
So when we would do a burn tower scenario, we always use Festus, and it's up there off A highway. It takes about 30-45 minutes in a pumper to get there. So when we would go, it would be the department I was on. We'd get Bismarck. I think you went with us one year, didn't you? No,
I've
maybe it was
never been to
Brett and
Burns
Josh
Tower.
then.
Yeah.
It was Bismarck. It was Leadwood. We took Leadington. We took Belgrade. We took Caledonia.
Pilot Knob.
Knob. Whoever we could get. And it had to be a band of us. Because when you go up there, you have to have 20, 30 people to make this thing operate. Because when you get there, you have to unpack all your stuff. You're 45 minutes away from home. You have to supply your own material to burn. So, like, we would do pallets and hay bales. So we had to have a truck and trailer to haul that up there. We had to get it in the burn tower. We had to put it in the burn room, get that lit. We had to take guys inside the burn room. You had to have 3 or 4 officers to watch a group of 15 people to sit in this room and make sure nobody got hurt. The last year I didn't. I was actually an instructor. And by the time you do that, get that burn going, it's already hot. You're already getting tired. You're wearing 70 pounds of gear. You have to smoke the tower up, and then you have to go up all these steps to do the search and rescue evolutions. Well, then after you're done with that, you have to wash the burn tower out. So you have to wash out the burn room, clean up all your hoses, clean it. You basically have to rework an entire structure fire. So if you don't have 15, 16, 30 people going with you, we ended up canceling one year because we didn't have enough people to go. Mm-hmm. Well, that training is very important because that's the only on-hands live fire training you get other than going into an actual house fire during an emergency. So that resource, that if you end up providing that will be huge around this area.
Yeah, and then you guys are 45 minutes away. Who's covering your firehouse?
Exactly. We would say, yeah.
If you get a fire and
Yep.
something happens, you're out of service. If your
Yep,
hoses are
SOL.
pulled, your truck's down, like, you're 45 minutes away.
Yep. I agree.
Well, so let's skip down to 23.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back in your career so far, both as the business owner, the Navy, the young man that you were that got you to where you are right now, what moment makes you the proudest?
I'd probably say becoming a business owner. And it's because of the options that we're looking to offer to the community and the people around us.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest chance that we have to make a difference locally.
Agreed, man. Until I met you and learned about what you and Craig do here, and you guys supporting us, especially supporting our podcast out of your own pocket, that's a big, big thing to me, and that's why I support you guys in any way I possibly can, and so does Lockie. You guys you're killing it. You guys are just absolutely killing it, and I cannot encourage enough people to come here and spend 10 minutes and talk to you because they will learn something, I promise.
Yeah, and with that, like, I know we've talked about it offline personally, I think both of us, but there is a lot of companies, a lot of businesses who say, I support veterans, I support first responders, I support this. But when you call and ask, they don't show up. You can't even get them to set up a booth like Checkpoint did at the event. Like, they're like, oh, we support you. And it's like, hey, can you come? No, we're busy.
We run into that a lot.
And that is something with us that our word means a lot to us. Like, I'm not going to tell you that I do it or I'm going to do it if I don't do it. We stand behind who we say we are. And that is a huge thing to us.
Well, you follow through with it for sure.
And so I think that's a good question here too. If you could change one thing about how veterans or the volunteer fire service, however you want to take it, are supported after leaving, after joining, whatever, what would it be?
For veterans, I'd like to see a lot less of them homeless. But there's just a lot of, I don't know, like, so transitioning home, and I guess I'll throw in another part. So people don't understand how much the military changes you and how much things change when you come home. When I grew up in DeSoto, was the quietest person ever. I didn't talk to people. I sat in the back of the classroom. Don't raise my hand. Don't call on me. The leadership that I had in the military taught me that wasn't going to be possible to be somebody in the military. Like, you can't gain rank if nobody knows who you are.
Right.
It doesn't help you. So there's a lot of aspects when you come home, people don't understand. And even being somebody who, yes, I went on deployment, and to me, it was a weird deployment. But coming home is a different experience. You've been gone for 7 years, like, for me, of my life. Somebody else, it might be 4. Somebody else, it might be 10, 15, 20. Imagine taking everything that you live around, your parents, cousins, all of your family, maybe except because in the military you can bring your husband and wife or kids with you, but everybody else stays home. And it's 30 days a year you get and leave. So you see them maybe 30 days a year if you don't. And most of the time you save leave in case there's a family emergency. You're able to take leave for that emergency. And then all of a sudden you come home. Everybody around you has been living their normal everyday life. For the military people, I went on a 3-month deployment, but all of those trainings, it's 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. You're separated that entire deployment from your family. So when you come back, it's not the same. Everybody I was around was like, you're a completely different person. And it's like, yeah, I'm not who I was. I didn't leave that same as I was. And that understanding is there. Yes, in some cases, people come back completely changed because of war. But there's not something wrong with them. They're coming back to a life where structure was so strict, and now there is none. There's a difference when you say in a normal civilian job, I got to be at work at 7 o'clock. In the military, 7 o'clock is late.
Exactly.
It's 15 minutes early. Everywhere you go, it's 15 minutes prior to wherever, or on time is late. You come home and it's like, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? And my first weeks, looking for a job and doing stuff, it was just what am I doing?
And I didn't, it's that nervous system. And I didn't know the depth of your nervous system until I've recently been through stuff, because you probably did come home seeking, it's 4 o'clock. This is what I would have been doing 2 months ago at 4 o'clock. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. This is what, it's like you're fiending for that fix of what you've been used to.
And it's kind of like, if you ever watch people who come home, and again, I relate this to prison. If you watch people who come home from prison after, say they're eating something, you'll see them kind of take on as if they're still there, guarding their food. They're still, I'm not saying the military's prison, obviously.
It is.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of aspects that, because you've been away for so long, you have to regain your ability to function in the normal civilian life.
Go ahead.
When I left the fire service, I had to do that. When I left the fire service, I was lost. I had no clue what I was going to do, which is how this started, but I had no clue. Thursdays, 6 o'clock. Well, what the hell am I doing now?
And because that passion, and that your purpose.
Yeah.
You literally lose your purpose.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to do with yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, and for those who heard me say it is when he said prison, I'm going to explain that real fast. If you watch a prison show where it's like, hey, what do you got? What do you trade me for? On the ship, it is very much the same. On deployments, it is very much the same. It's, hey, I need a pair of boots. Well, I've got some coveralls. People will literally trade stuff like prison. If you get certain, you go down, on the ship store, they only replenish so often, things run out. People might buy commodity items because they know when it runs out, they have a stash of them.
Yeah.
They can now trade those items for other things on the boat.
It's like cigarettes in prison.
And cigarettes you can get on the ship, but chewing tobacco and other certain things, you can't get as easily. People will literally go on deployment with a case of chewing dip, and they will trade it for the most whatever. And there's sometimes you'll be on the ship and someone's like, I'm out of dip. And everybody knows it's going to happen. You're going to run out of something eventually. And they've got it. And people be like $50 a roll.
Oh, my Lord.
It's like prison. It literally, you're swapping stuff to get stuff because they
Well,
have
that's
what you
that
need, you have what
survival.
they need. And
Yeah.
it's very much like living in jail.
That's crazy.
Because people
Yeah,
will
that's-
pay whatever for
Okay,
what they need.
Maybe I was a little bit more right than what I thought.
Yes.
Wow, that's That's just
So,
insane.
what advice would you give to veterans that are possibly thinking about starting their own business or getting back into the workforce? What kind of advice would you give them?
If you're thinking about starting a business, just do it. It's something that we had been debating on for a couple of years, and it became to the point it was like, there's no better time. The place where I was working was closing, so it became a just do it. After doing it, yes, there is a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of things you have to go through to get here, but in the end, it's just do it. Like, if you keep saying tomorrow, I feel tomorrow never comes. Like, it's tomorrow, you're going to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. The next day, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like laundry.
Yes. Like, so it's at a certain point, just do what you're wanting to do.
And I think that's what is so important for everyone, just to be happy and just do. You know, if people think that it's weird that you're doing something, if it makes you happy, what difference does it make?
It's not bothering you.
Yep. And if you found your purpose, and your purpose might be weird to some, it doesn't matter. You're making yourself happy.
It's like people that don't like us doing this podcast. I really don't care.
Right. Well, and I mean, I have found more healing. I have met more people and made more connections, but that's me. That's my personality. I'm very much I can walk in Dollar General and leave with 4 new people that I've made a connection with. I'm very, very much on connections with people. And so then kind of to wrap it up as far as in our segment with a title, The Words of Wisdom, what do you wish more people understood about the sacrifices that military families, first responder families make?
People don't realize that families, kids grow up without their parents a lot. Like, there's a lot of people who are married, have kids. They might go on deployment for 6 months at a time. There was a guy when I was in boot camp. He missed the birth of his child.
That happens quite a bit, right?
It's very frequent. You might miss your family member passing away, and you're not able to go to their funeral. There's and that happened more than anyone knows during COVID.
Oh, I'm sure.
I worked with people who could not go to their brother or their sister's funeral because
yes.
they said, nope, that's considered a high COVID zone.
And that was what was so hard being in the medical field, is when we would transport a couple that had been married 55 years. Sir, I can't take you with, you can't be there in the hospital. And to think there were so many people that died alone.
Well, if you revert back to Brandon Hall's episode, Brandon Hall his mother passed away from COVID. And they, at the time, I think he said his dad had COVID, right?
Yeah, because he didn't go with them in the ambulance.
So Tudor and Julie were a very well-known couple around here. Julie was a sweetheart, and so was Tudor.
He's a mess.
He's something.
That apple doesn't fall too far from the tree either.
Amen. But they, that was a struggle. I mean, Brandon, his dad actively had COVID, almost didn't get to make his wife's funeral. And Brandon said, I don't care what's going on. I'm bringing you here in some capacity.
I think, too, of all of the our history we have, and of course I've been alive for almost 51 years, I think if I could erase one thing, and I know this is probably really craziness, I think COVID would have been something. I don't think we have ever, and I wasn't alive during Vietnam, whatever, but I never thought that we would live in the world that we lived in COVID. I never thought that, September 11th, another incident, I never thought that I would live in fear of traveling, of being an American, of this, I had to stay at home and couldn't socialize with anybody. School shut down. I never thought that would be anything at all of what, people are not the same.
No.
They are not the same.
Nope.
We don't interact the same. We don't handle things the same. And not that that's good thing, bad thing, but there's just not that connection anymore.
Well, and people talk about technology being at fault. COVID caused that because COVID, when that struck, that is the only way we could talk to people. You had to sit in your house and you had to FaceTime. You had to make a phone call. You had to send a text message. And all you had to keep you alive was TikTok and freaking social media. So now that COVID's over, quote unquote, it's like the military. People don't know how to go out and just socially talk to people. Like last night, I went and hung out with my wife and some friends, and we sat around, we drank, we had a good time. I don't think I picked up my phone except to text you two. And Dylan and Taylor Miner got a nice text message. But anyways, it's amazing that a pandemic done what it did to our country, our world. I mean, it just screwed everything up. Although I did like being 6 feet apart from people. That was kind of nice.
It was, but I mean, I love talking to people. I love, I would get in the car and go visit somebody and just hang out at a house. And my God, that you don't do that anymore.
Nope.
I have my Miss Jane that lives in my little compound. I went over the other night and I sat and visited on her sofa for almost 2 hours, and we both were, we enjoyed that so much because we don't do that anymore. And I don't know. I kind of went off on a.
It even screws firehouses up because.
Yeah.
So the year 2020, January of 2020 is when I became a lieutenant with the department I was on. COVID had hit in 19, right? Yeah.
Technically,
when did lockdown hit? 20?
Late
Well,
19, early 20.
I can remember it was March 18th, roughly 17th
Yep.
and 18th, because Sydney was going to turn 21.
Yeah.
And on her 21st birthday, which was March 18th, it was like, where are we going to go? And the only place that was open was Spokes. And so Sydney, she really got the shit end of the deal of being 21. Now, from rumor and her telling stories, I think she's made up for it since then. But I mean, even like Brett's senior year was absolutely ruined.
Oh, a lot of
He
kids.
had nothing.
Yep.
And what really sucked too was that, not only did Brett didn't have the normal senior year, and I was super pumped. Like I said, I was more excited he was going to graduate than he was. But my mom passed away.
Yep.
He graduated on my birthday.
Yeah.
In June when he should have graduated in May. I mean, it did. It just really. It took a toll on everything.
Yep. Like firehouses, you couldn't. I became a lieutenant in January, and March 18th, 19th, 20th, whenever it was, we all got a message on our messenger group at the time basically saying, do not come to the firehouse unless there's a call. If there's a call, you get in your gear, you get in a truck, and you do not touch, look, see, hear anything else. You come back here, and that was when sanitizing everything became a big thing. You'd have 3 more steps to do when you got back to the station because you had to clean your gear, then you had to sanitize the whole truck, sanitize each other. Like, it was just insane.
Which I never understood. I always washed my hands and clean stuff. So I had such an issue of teaching kids and people to wash their hands. It's like,
yeah, like, isn't this a normal thing?
okay, you wipe your butt, you wash your hands. I guess we all didn't do that, but whatever.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and I was on a training deployment when that happened, so we were out for 2 weeks. COVID was kind of becoming a thing. When we got ready to come back, it was the first time that a commanding officer flew out to talk to us before we went home.
Yeah.
Which we were like,
So
okay.
you knew something
We
was
were
up.
like, what's going on? Like, a commanding officer shows up and he goes, when you get home, it's not going to be the same. And we're like, we've been out here 2 weeks. What do you mean it's not going to be the same? And he's like, this COVID thing's really become a big deal. And we got back and didn't think none of it. I went home, unpacked my stuff. I had just done 14 straight days, 12-hour shifts, lack of sleep. I crashed. 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up to go to the store, and they're all closed.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the stores that were 24 hours were closed. And I was like, what the heck just happened? And they're like, we had to close because we got raided last night. They bought like everything out. The shelves are completely empty. And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people don't know what that did to people in the military. If Craig ever does an episode, I don't know that he will. They, on their deployment, it was every 2 hours was cleaning stations. It did not matter if you were day shift or night shift. You woke up, every 2 hours to completely help sanitize the ship.
Yep.
So you would sleep for 2 hours, you'd be up for an hour plus cleaning, go to sleep for 2 hours, and still
That's
had to do your
insane.
normal 12-hour shift. I'm like, you can't function like that as a person with that little bit of sleep gap.
No.
It's amazing, man. Well, I think this COVID conversation may be coming up for another time. Maybe we need to do an episode about that. And relive that for a little while. But Nathan, I'm going to ask you a very important question. We've asked all of our guests here on Voices of Valor. You are a 15th guest. And Locke, I'm going to let you say your normal line for the 15th guest of Voices of Valor. What is he?
Do what now?
What is he? He's our 15th.
Resource.
There you go.
Oh, I was
Nathan,
like, where are you
lost?
going? Yeah, I was like, where are you going with this?
Nathan, you're our 15th resource. I'll say it for Locke.
You've officially become a resource, so.
Yeah, so you're our 15th resource here on Voices of Valor, our 15th guest. After everything you've experienced, from serving your country to building a business, what does the word valor mean to you personally, professionally, and as a business owner?
So valor to me is showing up when others wouldn't. It's not just about being a hero. True heroes don't seek recognition or ask for a pat on the back. They understand that whatever they are about to do may cause them harm. The brothers and sisters standing next to them may not come home, and they may not either. But they go anyway. They do not seek attention. They are there to get the job done. You see that in first responders and military members who run into chaos. Police run towards gunshots. Firefighters run towards burning buildings as they collapse around them. EMS steps in to save lives, often risking their own. Even 911 dispatchers answer the call, 911 dispatchers answer the call, listening to the screams and the panic, doing everything they can to keep someone calm and to get them help. And they are often forgotten. It doesn't matter the danger or what your role is, you show up. You know it's not going to be easy, and in the end, you ask for nothing. You don't want to be thanked. You don't want an award, even if you get one. Valor is found in those who didn't and don't come home, those who laid it all on the line for the brothers and sisters next to them, or for people they may have never even known, just to save a life. Whether it's the last call of a first responder or a service member being relieved of their final watch, their brothers and sisters now stand in their place to carry on what they gave everything to protect. And what people often forget is that behind that sacrifice is the family, a son, a daughter, a husband, or a wife, or a father left behind because of their sacrifice that those men and women made. It doesn't matter if it was on the front lines of our community or on the front lines of a war, their sacrifice should never be forgotten. Valor is showing up when others won't, being willing to pay the price, even when it costs you everything, because it's bigger than you.
Wow.
Very good.
Very good. I'm sure it took you a little while to write.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's one of our longest.
And it's a very deep one.
Very.
It really
that cuts
is.
very deep. So good job on that, man. That I know that had to take you a minute. We are going to have a little bit of fun.
Well, now wait. Did we get our answer that you kind of?
I was just thinking that.
The question?
Well, from yesterday when you said you might will reveal maybe something. Did we hit the point or no?
Kind of, yeah. The fact that I was like almost homeless, that I was a super quiet person, like an individual.
I was gonna say
like,
there's.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
Everybody sees me as like a super outgoing
Yes,
person.
Yeah.
and you
but,
are. Yep.
Like I wasn't. Like
I thought
used
you were
to
going
be-
to tell us you were a millionaire, and I didn't. I could call
man, I was
Justin Duncan
hoping.
tomorrow and not go to work. Damn it.
Well, you know.
No, and that is, it's, I mean, I think your experience from your childhood to the military to coming home to starting this business to working at Rob's, it's definitely made the foundation of who you are.
Yes.
And you should be very proud of who you are.
Yeah, and I guess in like retrospect, people don't realize that like most people think, oh, business owners are rich and have everything, but it's
Right.
like,
No.
no, you're not. Most of us aren't. And then it's coming from the foundation of the people that you're helping in their lives also. It may just be in a different aspect, but we're real people who understand
Yeah.
Well, and we appreciate you.
We cannot thank you enough for that, man, and everything you do for us here on Midwest Mayhem and Voices of Valor. I'm starting to get a little delirious, so we're going to start wrapping this thing.
You need to hydrate and
Yeah,
get
no
home.
joke. We're going to do a little bit of our rapid fire round. You've listened to every one of our episodes, so you know what's coming at you, brother. Let's kick it off. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All righty. Let's get them as quick as we can get them. There will be a question, I'm sure, where you're going to have to give 2 answers.
Yes.
We'll get there. Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Coffee.
Damn, you're quick, bud.
He's already had like 6 cups while we've been here, so I knew that one.
So coffee or energy drink, you say coffee. Favorite firearm platform?
It's probably gonna be pistol caliber carbine
Ooh, that's a good one. Range day or hunting trip?
range.
I kind of figured that one. Favorite military duty station?
Ooh. I would probably say deployment just because I got to go to Japan and Australia.
That is pretty neat. I will give you that one.
Dad
and the
did some
Philippines.
time in Australia. He loved it.
Yeah.
It was on his whatever the break he got.
Teaser, if you want to go to Australia, it's the U.S. with an accent. Everything looks
And
feels
disgusting
like
big huge bugs and gross animals that
we
will
were in
kill
the middle
you.
of a city. It felt like we were in the middle of like a downtown St. Louis or
Love to go to
metropolitan
Australia.
area.
That is on my bucket list.
I want to fight a kangaroo.
You can get a kangaroo burger there.
Ew. I said fight them, not eat them. Anywho, that's a little disturbing. If you weren't in the Navy, what career might you have pursued?
That one, I honestly do not know. I can't, like, the jobs that I was in, I can't really place somewhere that I would be now if I didn't join.
Wow. Let's see. Pistol or rifle?
Pistol.
Favorite range drill?
Ooh. I don't know if I really have like a favorite range drill because I feel a lot of the range drills to get ran, it puts you into that training mindset and then it locks you into doing that when you shouldn't be doing that because you repeat it so much. So I try not to do a lot of constant repeat same drills.
Yeah. Our favorite piece of gear everyone should own?
I would probably have to say some type of body armor or bulletproof vest.
That's a good one. They had bulletproof vest over there at the event yesterday. The firefighters.
Angel Armor donated that.
That's sad. So something most people don't know about you, and I think we kind of answered this one already.
Yeah, I used to be a super quiet person. Like, I
Wow.
was not this outgoing at all.
That's insane. One thing you miss about the Navy?
That's going to be the same, brotherhood and camaraderie.
That's a good one. One word that sums up the veteran community to you, and I will let you use two because I always let people use two. I don't know why I just don't change it in the script.
Yeah, and that's going to end up, that's the same answer. It's the brotherhood and camaraderie. Like, you're not going to find that anywhere else.
Wow.
No, because you literally, it's your home away from home.
Yeah.
You eat, sleep,
Just
everything
like the
with
fire
these
service.
people. You are with those people. Like Rick said yesterday, you're this close.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to get to know each other.
Yep, exactly.
It's a second family.
Yep.
Well, Nathan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, from serving your country in the Navy to building a veteran-owned business right here in Southeast Missouri. Your journey, if I can read today and speak today, represents what Voices of Valor is all about. We've had many conversations about this since we've been doing this with you. Service, leadership, and continuing to give back to the community even after the uniform comes off. We're also proud to have Frontline Armory as a Voices of Valor legacy sponsor. That is our highest package you can get with us, helping us continue sharing stories from veterans, first responders, and everyday heroes here in our community. I do have one final I'm going to have two final questions for you. If you could leave our listeners with one message, something you've learned from the time in the Navy and now as a business owner, what would it be?
Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget,
That cuts deep.
don't forget your lowest points, because that's who built you where you are today. That's who made you what you are today. And you may have lived a good life, but understand that not everyone has, and there are people that are at their lowest points.
That's a
And
good
just
one, man.
meet people where they are.
Yes.
Have no expectations.
Meet
and
'em
meet
where they
people
are.
where they are.
Agreed. So we always do this on our Voices of Valor series. It helps keep us lining up guests here for Voices of Valor, which I think we might have that locked down now. I think we're starting to get pretty good at lining people up here in the next couple of weeks. I got quite a few to schedule. We love to do this here in Voices of Valor. Nathan, who is one person, a veteran, a first responder, or someone serving their community that you think has a powerful story that should hit the chair you're sitting in next? And if you could leave them with a message or challenge to share their story, what would you say to them?
So this one, it's actually going to be more than one person. I definitely challenge Dustin Tate from the St. Francis County Ambulance District, because I feel he serves a role and his mindset would give a very good perspective on things for other people in a leadership type role.
And he's not afraid to call out those people in leadership
No,
roles.
he is not.
Michaela, I'm sorry, but I could have kissed him yesterday when because I could tell he was making eye contact with chiefs, with the sheriff, with everybody, and I thought, that guy's got it right there.
Well, I talked to him yesterday, so I'm hoping we can get him on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dustin, if you're listening, come sign up, brother. Check out our website, click Voices of Valor tab, and sign up.
I also think Taylor Minor should do this, because a family perspective would also offer something that people aren't used to hearing. And I think that any person that is sitting in the seat of supervisor, doesn't matter how low or how high, you should be doing this, because your people need to understand exactly what Dustin said yesterday. Your people need to know it's okay. That you are okay if they step forward and say, I'm not okay.
Exactly.
Because as that supervisor and that position, your people need to be able to know that when they're at their lowest moment, they can approach you. Yeah. That you're not going to turn your back on them. You're not going to give them the cold shoulder. You're not going to look at them and make it a stigma. You're going to let them get the help they need.
I will have to say, and I hate that I missed Justin's episode. I don't think I could have handled Justin's episode. I still haven't listened to it. I'm not mentally there to listen to it.
It was a good one.
In my last I didn't go off the rails, but I had a not so good mental. I messaged Justin and I said, I need help. Things aren't good. And, he immediately, are you in a crisis? And I was set up in less than a week with help. And so, I appreciate that from him. And he was with me and supported our organization through one of the toughest things I've ever had to live through. And so for Dustin to say it and call people out, it did mean a lot to me yesterday.
That was a badass move yesterday.
And I also know that I as Dustin was walking up, I was like, he knew I was appreciative of what he said. And I asked him too, I said, are you adding this into the curriculum for the EMT and paramedic students? And he said that they are, because I know for a fact, you're getting almost 18, 19-year-old kids that are signing up for these classes, and their first clinical is a head-on collision with serious things, or pediatric cardiac arrest. And these kids don't know how to handle that. Exactly. I mean, some of us 50-year-olds don't know how to handle it. So we have people that are listening, and the turnout wasn't as big as I was hoping. Next year, I think it will be.
I think it will be too.
And the more that people sit down with us, or openly in organizations talk about it, as I say 10,000 times, not only are you a resource, but the other thing I always say is if we can save one person,
we've done something right.
We've done something right.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode here on Midwest Mayhem. This is episode number 8 of the Voices of Valor series, or of the season number 2, should I say. We're sitting here with our 15th guest here, Voices of Valor. And Nathan, thank you so much for everything you do for Midwest Mayhem, for Lockie and I, for everything you've just done for the event. You truly are a giving person, and I truly appreciate everything you've done for us and everything that you do for the community. We are a growing podcast for sure. We talked to plenty of people yesterday at the free first responder mental health seminar. got plenty of resources, invited to do plenty of things. I think we've probably lined up quite a few guests here for Voices of Valor, so we got that coming up. Don't forget you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Go directly to our website and click the Listen tab at www.midwestmayhempodcast.com. If you look behind Nathan, there's a big QR code on this nice new banner we just got, and you should be able to scan it with your phone. It'll take you to our website, and or actually it'll take you to our Beacons page and our link for our website. All of our social media and all of our listening links are listed right there with that QR code. So go check it out, scan it, come sign up with us for Voices of Valor. Again, shout out to Leadwood Fire Protection District, Tailored Miner, Dylan Miner, Megan O'Neill, all those guys yesterday for inviting us over to attend that event and letting us broadcast live. I had so much fun. It was a blast, and it meant a lot to me, and it was very near and dear to my heart. Lockie, you got anything you want to add to that?
The only thing is kind of what I always say is if you are in a crisis, there is 988, but if you are not comfortable with contacting 988, please get in touch with one of us, and we will set you up with the help you need. I don't care, and I tell this to anybody, don't text message me in the middle of the night. Actually call me. Mm-hmm. And if you are in crisis, please do so. I will get you the help you need.
Absolutely. You can find more resources if you're a first responder or civilian, you can find resources on our website under our resources tab. I've got plenty of those listed up there. I will be getting Sheila Struckmeyer's foundation posted up there with all that information here soon. Nathan, again, I cannot thank Frontline Armory enough. Huge shout out to Checkpoint Coffee and Canteen for everything they did yesterday at the free first responder mental health seminar and giving all that coffee away. I hear it was really, really good. So again, this is Midwest Mayhem, Voices of Valor. We're going to continue with our series, and we got so much more coming up, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. I am your host, Tyler.
I'm Lockie, and no, you're not alone.
We'll talk to you guys here soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast. You can find us on socials, Facebook, TikTok, and X. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or directly on our website at www.midwestmayhempodcast.com. On our website, you can find merchandise for sale, including t-shirts, hoodies, tumblers, stickers, and more. All merchandise sales go directly back into supporting this mission and helping support first responders. You can also find mental health resources, learn more about your hosts, and explore everything Midwest Mayhem has to offer. Thank you all for listening to the Midwest Mayhem Podcast, where we turn courage into conversation.